Good morning, traders out there. Welcome to another stream right here on Trade the Pool, of course. Are you guys excited for another day? Well, looked at today, right? We got a little bit of a earnings disappointment with AMD, yet the market seems to be hanging in there. That just seems to be this market. The ever rotation is on. We don't seem to get some down action. We seem to bounce back almost on everything, right? So today we'll be looking to see if maybe we can catch a nice little up move to the upside and see what we can find in, of course, the market today. I got a lot of plays to get through on the playbook. We'll get to the sunrise report. We'll talk about what stocks are moving and why. If you guys have an earnings stock that you guys want to talk about, throw it up in the chat. It's good to see you guys out there. Good morning to you guys out there. Excited to keep the show on and keep it going. It's good to see you guys in the chat. We got Kevin in the house today. He'll be joining us shortly on the show also. And of course, today we'll be joined by Josh. So we got a lot for you guys. We're going to be bringing on traders more often here, other traders, of course, than ourselves, so that you guys can learn from some other personalities. And if you out there ever want to come on the show, like I always say, I got an open door policy. So if you want to come onto the show, just let me know, hit the comments, hit us up on the Discord, or just reach out to me on Twitter. Always willing to kind of open the door for new traders to kind of get that environment where they can really continue to grow in front of others. That's why I do this every single day, guys. It helps me keep my accountability high. You guys get to see my trading and how everything goes. There's no hiding, right? And I think that's what the great thing about being live is. You can't hide. You have to show everything. And that's what it's about right here on Trade the Pool. So let's keep it going. Let's get to the market. Let's take a look at what's going on out there, guys. We'll kick the show off. Let's just go right to the countdown. Then we'll kick into the playbook. We'll go to the sunrise report. Well, Michael Noss will be joining us at 9, and so will Josh. Let's keep things going. It's Trade the Pool. You know where you're at.
Wants 200, baby.
You ready to get back to the trading action?
You aim, you shoot, and make money. It's going to be a great day. You guys know where you're at.
Let's take a look here at what's going on. Of course, you guys can see that the market is just kind of hanging in there, right? We'll see what happens right now. Let me do this a little bit bigger. It seems like this one's a little bit needs some adjustment right quick here. Let me just drag that down right there. There we are. Nice little fix there. I'll fix the other ones in a second here. But looking good there, guys. Had to do a little bit of an adjustment there. And you guys got to see the actual inside look. Well, smash the like for that, guys. Fixed there. Let's get to the market. You guys can see we're bouncing back. We'll see what happens today. But we were up higher this morning. We were gapped up, right? In the after hours. Now we've been kind of trickling down. Will we get a little bit of a lift? It's going to be a tough day overall. We'll be seeing what happens. I'll get to the playbook. But right now, of course, the SPY just kind of trying to bounce back. We've had a couple of days, right, since this downward action on Friday. Now kind of going sideways. Will we take this and go right back up? I think these are all things to be thought about today. Of course, if we do cut on Monday's level, I think that's really where the sign of concern is. I talked about this yesterday and how we could hold around the 626 level. We went to 626.88, so we held a little bit even higher than I thought. Thought we could get closer towards the 625.58s, but at least a higher low trend. Let's see if that can continue today as a good sign to, kind of catch what's going on here and get around the situation there. We'll see what happens with this stock. Doesn't look bad at all here. Let me know in the chat, what are the stocks that you guys are watching in the market right now? Maybe it's a swing trade that you guys have on. So let's keep it going. We'll take a look around, and of course, we'll keep things moving here. Let's get to the playbook where we take a look at what stocks are moving and why. Well, first up, the playbook. Let's take a look at what plays we're watching. Then we'll get to the sunrise. Let's take a look here. First up on the playbook, I'm going to take a look at the earnings stock that really kind of disappointed, which is AMD. Of course, yesterday, I was playing this as a short side. I was talking about how it just felt extended and it could get the hit, but I thought maybe the earnings could bring it back. And it did for a slight second there. It popped to 179 because it didn't have the worst earnings, but it just seemed like it was not the best day to report. And right now, it just seems like these names can't get the lift off the earnings. Right? We're not getting these big booms off of earnings right now. I think that's something to be worried about moving forward. But now it's to look at to see if AMD can get off the bottom end of this Bollinger Band and start to climb back. I think there's no reason to think that this stock can't climb back. Now, it could make its way back towards the 50 EMA, which would be a move back to 146.50s. I'm looking to see what happens today. Today's that day where if it doesn't come back, yeah, I can see it being a little bit weaker and maybe getting back towards that 50 EMA. But today could be that quick bounce back type of day. And if you look at it already, it's already looking better since 7 a.m. It seems like we keep getting higher lows, and that's off 162. We're already back towards 166. So doesn't mean that AMD can't just come back here, start to push at 9 a.m. Next thing you know, we see it at 170. The market opens, it's back at 175. And next thing you know, we're closing back towards 185. It very much could happen, guys. I don't know what's going to happen with AMD today, but I am leaning more on the bullish side than the bearish side. We'll see what happens there on AMD. All right, keeping up with that, let's go to another play here. We can take a look at different plays in the markets, of course, with the market doing really well, right, as of late, and then starting to pull back. We got a quick spike on the VIX, which kind of led to some VIX buying in the options market, right? Now the question is, will those traders start to get stuffed? And I think that's something to be thought about, of course. The markets are rotating, but if tech reclaims the spotlight, and that's what I'll be watching to see what happens if we can get another rally from tech, because I think that's what we need here. We've had this pullback. Can we get a push right back up there in techs? Maybe we finally get another VIX meltdown, right? I think that that's what I'll be looking to see what happens. Are we going to go right back into this trend line and start to push higher where we were, let's say, on Friday? Or are we finally going to just start to break down through the support? Back through the 42.50 area is what I'll be watching for a move back into the 40s and maybe even lower. We'll see what happens. As you can see, the volume that got bought up there, there's definitely some kind of options that were bought up. The question is, will they go ahead and just take some pain first? It seems like that's what's happening right now. If you bought on that day, you were completely wrong, and now it's pulling back. So we'll see what happens there. Of course, it might have been some profit taking, and maybe all those traders are out already. Well, I don't think all of them are out, but we'll see what happens here in the VIX to see if it starts to melt down. All right, let's go to one more here. As I've been talking about this trade, and I also talked about it yesterday on Trader TV about kind of the lending and how lending has been going higher. Now a firm really looking strong here. Had a really good day off of this push. Now went inside day yesterday. I'm looking for it to take out these two highs and start to push higher. It doesn't look bad at all here for a firm. Let's see if this can push above that, really start to get going. And then from there, we can maybe get towards 80. And you can't only look at a firm. You can take a look at all these names in the lending space. Upstart can be one that you could look at. SoFi even falls into that. So I'm bullish SoFi today. It's hung out here. It's pulled back. It keeps holding on this trend line. As long as we don't go back and undercut these two lows, which are 2060 and 2070 out the gate, I'll be looking for this to start climbing back towards the 23, maybe eventually get into the 25. SoFi, let's see if it gets going today. Not a bad one to keep an eye out. And let me know, are you guys watching SoFi? You guys like it? Let me know. Shane, what's going on, man? It's been some time. I did see you on the stream yesterday, but it's good to see you out there. And definitely let me know if you ever want to come onto the show. And Shane, I know that you kill it. Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope those funded accounts are going well. And let me know when you get that payout, because I want to celebrate with you, my friend. And hopefully one day you get a really nice payout. We can go out there and get out there on some yacht action. But that looks like a little snow background. I could use some snow action, man. Enjoy it out there, Shane. Wish you the best of luck, my friend. Eli, good morning to you. It's good to see you in the chat. Good morning to all you guys out there. It's definitely, if you're new to the show or for some reason, just don't talk that often in the chat, just say good morning. It's good to see you guys out there. All right, guys, let's keep it moving. Let's go to the next play here. And we can take a look at plenty of plays right now. What about like an SMR? SMR yesterday, I was thinking about buying this pullback. Talked about how we could come into the kind of a trend line approach, how we could make a way back towards like 46. It did make a little bit, but it didn't really get going. And yesterday, it was pretty hot. So, of course, this did do a big like gap down. So I'm looking to see if we can get back into that gap and actually attempt to get back towards yesterday's high. If we can get back to yesterday's high, break that 48, this is a really good looking trade. I think SMR is one that we definitely keep an eye out for. And we look to see if we just get the gap fill, like kind of how we had on HIMS, where it gapped down, right? And then it just kind of slowly stair-stepped higher. We did get a little bit of some pushes. And then finally, when it started to break really into the box is when it really kind of filled in here. That's what I want to see here come out of SMR, right? So we'll see if it just can kind of slowly stair step its way up to 50, maybe go to 48 or 49s, then pull back a little bit, then really take that 50. We could also look at this on the swing, or maybe looking to see NNE, but we really want to see also these names really stay hot. This is the sign of concern for me, that the leader like GEV is looking like every time we get to the 9 EMA, we hold. But will this time be another hold, or will we get some breakdown? So if you want to watch these, I think it's important to also keep your eyes on like CEG, all these types of names that are holding on to their short-term moving average. But we all know how those short-term moving averages are. If they let go, they could easily be right back down to 300 on CEG, and that could start a further pullback in these nuclear names. We'll see what happens. Of course, been trading a lot of these nuclear names. And then FLNC is another one that I've been looking at, guys. I talked about how I wanted to see this one recover 8 on Monday. It did recover 8, got to the 850. Yesterday, got to 881. I actually sold this one for a little bit of a winner yesterday. Looking to see if this one can break 9 and really make its way back to 10. We'll see what happens with FLNC, Fluence Energy. This one moves also with Bloom Energy that has been really strong. So if you guys are looking for different themes, there's always themes out there. And let me know, what theme are you watching in the market? Maybe it's something that I'm missing and not catching. All right, like always, guys, gonna keep pushing. And Shane putting up a message here. Blew the funded account, unfortunately, after was that 16,000 in payouts? That's not bad at all, man. Hey, you got some payout, you got some money to push through, and now you can keep pushing, right? Hey, Shane, power to you, my friend. At the end of the day, getting paid is such a great thing to hear, and it's good to see that you got that payout, my friend. All right, let's keep going. Eli, what's up out there? It's good to see you. What are you looking at this morning? Let me know, man. What's on your radar? All right, let's keep moving. Let's go to the Sunrise Report. We'll be bringing on Michael and others just shortly here. Let's keep it moving here. Let's go now towards the Sunrise Report as we take a look to see what's going on out there. We got some big movers, of course. Let's go to some earnings. We can talk about yesterday's action, but really, I think we've already talked a little bit about that. Let's go to some spotlights of some earnings. Let's go to the first one up, AMD, of course, and talk about their Q2 results versus the expectation. And this is one of those where it really wasn't too far off on the expectations. I think it was just kind of one of these days where it just wasn't the best day to report. The EPS was pretty much in line. It missed by a penny, right? That's not much. The revenues were actually over at $7.69 billion versus $7.42 billion expected. So nice beat there in revenue. Net income at $872 million versus $265 million. So what's the negative here, guys? The net income went from $265 to $872. Maybe if you're telling me that you're going to really get crushed in the guidance moving forward, then maybe that's what it is. But if you look at the Q3 sales outlook, it was given at $8.7 billion plus or minus $300 million versus an $8.3 billion expected. So even the guidance wasn't really that bad. CEO Lisa Su did say that export controls cut 800 million in AI chips and sales to China. Well, that we already know Trump's turning on that export control. So you're telling me if for some reason Trump really lets go, they could have a nice extra 800 million in sales? Well, not directly saying 800 million is going to come immediately after that happens. But that just goes to show me there's money to be made in China. AMD plans to resume China shipments, of course, pending the U.S. Commerce Department approval. So we'll watch to see news come out of that could give AMD another lift. New MI400 chips are to be launched next year. OpenAI and Meta are key clients of those chips. And OpenAI did say they would use the AMD chip along with, of course, probably NVIDIA's. But just them supporting it is enough. Another thing is AMD is claiming that their MI350 is competitive with NVIDIA's GB200 for AI workloads. You can look at the segment performance. You got data center at 3.2 billion. That's up 14% year over year. Client gaming at 3.6 billion. Hey, all things looking good here. Really? It really wasn't the worst report. That's why I'm in the camp of maybe we get a quick bounce back. Snap up, snap down. It just seems like Snap loves to come and snap right back down. It snaps up, then snaps right back down. That's the way it has a tendency of going into earnings, as Snap shares tanked over 15% after missing, of course, for their daily users expectations despite user growth. EPS at a negative 16 cents, not directly comparable. Revenues at 1.34 billion versus 1.35 billion expected. Daily active users 469 million versus 467 million expected. And it just seems to me like this just isn't a company that's going to survive, guys. The CEO, Evan Spiegel, cited a botched ad platform update. So that didn't help things. And it just seems like there's just not a much that's going on here. The guidance was also above the expectations, but they didn't even care for it. I think Snapchat is just something that's a dying brand here and doesn't look like it's going to turn around anytime soon. Disney, of course, kind of a little bit of a mixed noise here coming from Disney. They reported strong third-quarter earnings, but narrowly missed on revenue. EPS at $1.61 adjusted versus $1.47 expected. Revenues at $23.65 billion versus a $23.73 billion expectation. So revenues slightly missing there on the estimates. Net income at $5.26 billion versus a $2.62 billion year-over-year outlook. That doesn't really kind of go in line. The net income is really higher than that, but I think that's just kind of the expectation that was off there. The streaming growth, though, now at Disney Plus added 1.8 million subs, now at 128 million. Hulu plus 1% on subs, now at 55.5 million. Direct-to-consumer revenue up 6% to 6.18 billion, and traditional TV revenue down 15%. I think one thing that's really interesting that came out of this is the conversation of ESPN. So ESPN is going to start of course, a streaming service that's going to be about $30 a month, flagship app that is going to be coming out on August 21st. So finally, you're going to be able to have ESPN without having TV. This is actually a really negative thing to, let's say, legacy TV streaming services, but a big thing for ESPN as they move forward. They did do a deal with WWE. I'd like to see what you guys think about ESPN teaming up with WWE in the chat. Let me know what you guys think about the deal. Of course, this is going to be able to bring WrestleMania and SummerSlam and other events that the World Wrestling Federation does. We'll see what happens. WWE isn't what it used to be, but maybe this is some way to help them. Another thing that was revealed is, of course, the NFL to take a 10% stake in ESPN. And this is also with ESPN buying out the NFL network. And so I think this was just kind of like a back and forth mutual agreement for the NFL to take that stake and ESPN to go buying, of course, the NFL network. We'll see what happens with this and Disney. Can it bounce back? It made its way outside of this range, right? We talked about how this always seems to be the range that it can't get through. I think this time it does get through. I'll be watching for this to actually reverse and maybe get right back up to 125. The parks were looking pretty decent. It's other areas that are hurting Disney's business. All right, we got NVO that we can talk about, but I'm just going to go ahead and kick that to the side. There's Rivian and Tesla talk with FSD. There's so much more we can talk about, guys, but I'm going to bring the guys on here. We'll get to some trading action. We can talk about some of the other headlines out there in the market throughout the show. Let's go ahead. Let's bring on the boys here. Let's bring on, of course, we got Michael Noss in the house. What's going on, Michael? How we doing?
Muted there. There we go. Doing well, right? Market looks like it's bouncing again. Another good day to be a bull here. It looks like I was going through the earnings as you were talking. Looks like the option sellers won again in most cases here, other than Snap. They got killed in Snap, but the people who are selling strangles and straddles and all that, they're having a great time today. When I look at a lot of these like Disney and all of that, someday I'm gonna have the guts to play that game. It's not gonna be today, but maybe someday.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. Of course, Disney, a little bit of a back and forth. And that's just how it is, guys. They have so many different segments that affect their business. It's kind of hard. One could look really good, one could look really bad. And then it's just like it is right now. What do you see? A wick on both sides of this thing, right?
Yeah.
So even the algos didn't know where the hell this was going based on the report. So how the hell do we know? Right?
Yeah,
So,
and what I should specify, for the option sellers, there's just a whole group of people who before every earnings
yeah.
report don't take a bet on direction. They just
Yeah.
take a bet that the market makers have got a pretty good understanding of how much the name is going to move. So they sell calls, they sell puts,
Yeah.
and then they just wait for the open where that volatility crushes back down. And that's what we were saying with the Disney. The people trying to pick direction on some of these
Mm-hmm.
had a really bad day. The ones
Yeah.
who just said, "I'm just going to sell you that volatility," they're going to the bank again. Except in Snap. Snap, they're having a bad day for sure.
Like, imagine if you bought the calls for the 125 and you saw this thing get to 123 yesterday and you're like, oh, I got this. Oh, nope, you don't. And
Yeah.
then the ones that sold the puts at 115 and this goes to 113 and you're like, oh, man, I got this. Well, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't. Just like it is. And that's how it goes, guys. So we'll see what happens. And it's going to be a little bit of a tough report. That's for sure. All right, let's go ahead. Let's bring on my man Kevin Avery joining us on the show today. What's up? What's up, Kevin? How we doing, man?
All right, let's fix this a little bit. What's going on, guys?
No worries, no worries. We'll get you centered out here, man. And it's good to have you on here. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, all good. All good.
Internet's
Give me
being
one
a little
second,
choppy,
1
but
second. Move the camera, and I got finagling with it. Just a second.
no worries, no worries. We'll get you back on here. Let me know when you're ready. You give me a little thumbs up in the background.
Oh, it's
All right.
funny. I was actually just looking. So Snap's expected move was actually around here. It was 17.5% for the weekly options and 18 for the monthly options. So if we bounce at all here, there's a chance that the market makers, even on Snap, end up cleaning up house, which is wild. You just have to be, we talk about it all the time. It's an interesting strategy. It makes money over time. There's been a lot of tests for that, but what you have to be okay is you're basically being the casino at that point. You're making little tiny amounts of money over and over and over again. Every now and then you got to pay out, right? The guy every now and then in roulette is going to hit his number, and you're going to have to pay him a whole bunch of money. But so it's risk size and positioning is very, very important. But
yeah, and
this
it's
is an
also
interesting-
and when options, it's always the majority of the times there's an out, a way that you can either roll, exercise, some kind of way.
That's where you
to
get
kinda,
real fancy. Where you sell. So for Snap, for example, if you sold a call on a put, obviously the call you sold is near zero.
Yeah.
and then the put you sold is inflated in price. So what a lot of people will do, yeah, they'll cover that call, maybe they'll roll it down and sell another call, or they're trying to work
Yeah.
out of these positions. But
Yeah.
it's interesting. It just seems like
That
a
options
lot.
game, it's complicated. Let's just say that,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about options, definitely there's other resources you guys can check out. We're always a proponent of every type of trading, guys. Whether it be equities, options, or we're financial markets, right? So
Yeah, I
nothing wrong
think
with that.
and not only that, I encourage people, because I always talk about how there's no trading style or strategy that works forever or works all of the time. So, if you're doing something like trade the pool, kind of directional trading here, and then at the same time you're trying to you've got your own account and you're like, well, what do I do with that? Well, maybe a different kind of trading would make
Yeah.
sense there, because then when style A is working, maybe style B is struggling and vice versa, but you're able to keep your returns consistent throughout time.
All right, guys. We'll go to this screen here. We'll be looking at Michael's charts. He can tell us a little bit about what he's seeing in the market. I'm going to bring on Kevin in the background now. He should be all right. And don't worry about centering. There you go. You're
I'm
on the
getting
show.
fired first day. Here we go.
No worries. No worries. Centering.
Good to see you guys.
Good
A
to see
thing
you,
we'll
man.
worry about next time. Can you hear me good? You got us?
Yeah,
You got us,
yeah,
Kevin?
we're good. We're
We're
good.
ready to rock and roll,
Hey.
baby.
The green team in here, you guys make some noise. We're forming an alliance here.
There you go. Green
Oh,
team.
cool.
Say hello out there in the chat. It's good to see you guys, of course. Oh, SMCI, man. Oof. I don't know
Yeah,
about
yeah, that was.
SMCI. This is why I tell you guys, I don't trust this company one bit.
Yeah.
And sometimes, guys, I know how there's technical traders that would just be like,
Oh,
well,
you see that upper wick? Oh my!
you just buy
Yeah.
SMCI because the chart looks good. The chart looks good. No.
Yeah.
No, I'm
This
staying
is-
the hell away from this company. This company scares the living out of me.
So that means you must love what, SMCX, the double, the double.
Oh,
leverage
good
on this
Lord.
guy. You want to go real crazy? No,
Where's the
I
bear
agree.
side of SMCX?
This is this for me is a day trader only, right? I'm not holding this thing overnight, because you get your doors kicked down by the DOJ. We talk about it all the time. Doesn't matter. You be right. Doesn't matter if you're 100% above board. They can shut you down for 6
Yeah,
months or
man.
so while they investigate,
Yep.
and just to find that you were 100% in the right, and it's just suffered.
What is that? The
So,
T1? Man, whew.
yeah.
I've only seen a few of those over the last 10 years, but man, if
Yeah.
you're stuck in that halt for months and months and that capital is locked up like that, not
Yeah.
fun to be involved.
No way. So give me, I'll take a day trade. In fact, I've got it loaded up in the algo to potentially fade these with, like I do with a lot of things, but a lot of them have already triggered, right? There's AMD starting to float higher already.
Yeah.
McDonald's, like a lot of these things are already trading. And when it comes to the SPY, I'm looking a lot here at again, just quick tip, always you can do the SP 500 if you don't want to play for futures data, and you essentially get the same price on the CFD contract, right? I think we got a lot of highs in this area. So I think the main place to keep an eye on is this, 6, if we do it on the SPY here, right, it looks a little bit different. That's why I want to look at the SP 500, but this 633 area, if you do the actual futures contract, or the CFD in this case, you can see there's been a bunch of highs, including pre-market data, right in this area right here. So I think that's step one to look at. If we can get through that, great. Then look out shorts. If we start to drift in, this low is, I think, obviously the place you got to look at. In between that, we're just kind of in a range bound market. So a lot of mean reversion, a lot of buying dips, selling rips, that kind of thing. But yeah, we could be stuck here for a good long time, because I don't think there's anything that we really care about today when it comes to any sort of economic reports. No, absolutely nothing today.
No.
I've
And
noticed, Michael,
nothing
you have a
more.
keen eye for squeezing shorts out. Is that something you enjoy doing?
I'm a big positioning guy, right? I talk about this all the time. I love, looking at things like the commitment of traders data.
Yeah, I
and
saw your
seeing-
video on the FinViz. Like that was really good. Seeing,
I appreciate
just
it.
where the shorts are. Yeah, on
Yep.
FinViz, utilizing that tool.
Yeah, so you got this. So commitment of traders data is good because this is future positioning data. So where they are, right? Where they're
Hmm.
not. Are they buying? Are they selling? What's going on there? And then, yeah, you actually got the overall just short float data and the same thing, because there is no better buyer or seller than a forced buyer or seller, right? They don't,
Yeah.
they can't be fancy. They can't use, hidden
Right.
orders and icebergs and blah, blah, blah. If your broker, if you've hit that margin and your broker's getting you out of your position, it's not going to be
Hmm.
fancy. And that's when you can get these insane rips kind of one way or the other. So,
GME style,
yeah,
as we all remember.
exactly.
Yeah, and a lot of these Wall Street bet plays have been doing just that. And I know you were watching Open as well.
Yeah.
OPEN. Yeah, it was having a slight gap down today. What are your thoughts there?
I just right this low, I think, is all important, right? This kind of 180 ish. I bought a little bit, and then I was thankfully, this is something that I love that interactive brokers do. They email you when earnings is coming up, and it's you have a holding in your portfolio. So I said, oh snap, I'm definitely not holding this through earnings, so I'm back out. But again, if we can hold this zone right here and start to push higher, like back through two, I might buy a
Yeah.
little bit of this one today for a swing. uh, Again, I just don't. We won't know for sure until I believe this weekend is when we're going to get new short float data. So
Okay.
it'd be interesting to see if they haven't covered that much. I'm going to be way more convicted in this trade. But if we see this chart really dip and we know that those shorts got out and got liquidated already, then that kind of takes a little bit of the air out of the play. But yeah, we have to hold this kind of all important. I think $2. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think another thing, of course, affecting it was just the pure conversation that came in this space. So it's just not looking good at all. This is the conversation that I brought up yesterday, where it just seems to me like 2008 written all over it. And the way the CEO was talking, he said it was the worst sellers market in over a decade. So
Wow.
it ain't looking good out there for housing, at least.
So with your guys' country being so diverse, I guess, do averages like that really even matter anymore? Like, yeah, I'm just thinking that there's no way that some place in the Midwest and what their housing market is doing is going to be at all related to New York, is going to be at all related to California. Um, you
It
know,
relatively is, Michael, because the way that it works is really it's all about interest rates. Yeah, your housing prices are changing from state to state, but the interest rates aren't. And so, with that being said, that's what's holding people back. It's the interest rates more than the housing price. I would feel housing prices have gone up, but when the interest rate is so high, that's what's holding people back. If interest rates were back at 3%, maybe we don't have this really bad market in housing. And that's why you're seeing Trump push so much about interest rates. He said that, if it was, down, that people would be buying. But that's what causes like economic booms and kind of the business cycle. Right now, it's not the time to be buying a house. Why? Because houses are like 50% higher than they were in the pandemic, because they're up, like they got up like 30%, and then the last couple of years they're up another 20%, and the interest rate's high. So you got two things that are negatively affecting this area, and that's why I think Zillow's report today will be so important. Zillow will be reporting, and that could completely ruin this trade again. Even if you got the right trade in open there, I think it's going to be all dependent on the big boy Zillow, right? Because we could pay attention to what open says, but Zillow is going to be heavily scrutinized.
well, thankfully, the interest rate thing is pretty easy to manage when it gets to that breaking point. It's you could just they could collapse rates at any time. So if that's the big thing, then and we know it's going to happen. We know it's going to either happen under
Yeah.
Jay Powell pretty
Yeah.
soon, or it's going to happen under his replacement, right? And it's really just one guy has to make one decision, hit one button,
Yeah, I
and
saw
then we
some
go.
numbers. It was 50 years ago. If you were right around 30 years old, most 50% plus of those people had a family, had a house, and right now it's sitting under 10%. 50 years later, so they call it like the golden handcuffs that people are locked in right now to their homes, because even if like people can't even essentially afford to sell their home and buy a new one, they'd have to downsize. Because of the interest rates, it would be going up astronomically.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So yes, it's a sore conversation for a
That's
lot.
a big
Yeah,
difference you guys have. We don't have 30-year rates here. The highest you get is 5, right? So we've already done the whole cycle from high rates to low rates and have adapted to that. But I keep forgetting that you guys, there's someone who could just buy their house, and then if they're in that really low interest rate, yeah, I know if it was me, it's like you have to pry this house out of my cold dead hands. If I'm paying 3% rates, I don't care. I'll drive
Yeah.
2 hours to work every day if I have to at that point.
Yeah, that's what's going on. And I think what's going to happen here is the concern of AI coming for jobs. That's the real breaking point that I could see going down the line. But that's real tinfoil hat thinking down the line.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens out there. There's tons of building, though. I can tell you, I was calling this out in early kind of 2022, 2023, how the builders were just going to go massively into oversupply. And that's exactly what they did. They said, hold on. These houses are worth double. Build, build, build now. Sell, sell, sell. But they're getting to this point now that I'm starting to see it. They're starting to slow down the building. The houses are now taking longer to build. Why are they doing that? Well, they're realizing there ain't no one to buy this house. I can build all I want. If no one's going to come buying them, there's going to be a problem down the line. And there's hundreds and hundreds of homes around me that are just empty. It looks like 2008. Like if you ever saw the movie, it looks exactly like
Well,
that.
you're in Florida. Were they a bunch of like Airbnbs?
You have no idea, man. I got to do a video. I got to do a video because it's literally like a ghost town when you go over there, and
It's
it's
funny.
like
We
4 or 5
banned
communities.
we banned Airbnb within not our whole province, but anywhere that's considered around a city, just
Mhm.
because they were taken up. No one was able to buy a house because they were just all getting bought up and
Yeah,
turned into
it's a
Airbnb. So the
problem.
city just
It's a
said,
problem.
"Get out!" Right. So now it's just basically cottages on the ocean. That's about it.
All right, let's go to some trading action for the day, guys. Let's take a look at what's going on out there. Kevin, you can always share your screen. We can
Yes,
go
sir.
up
Will
throughout
do.
that. And if you have any stocks you want to bring up,
Yes, sir.
feel free.
Yeah.
We
So
can
I'm
take a
just
look at some of those trades. Michael, what you got for us today?
just eyeing the SPY, right? And the same thing. If you're looking at this kind of intraday chart, you can see, we had this high right here before the pre-market fell. We had a high right here again, and then we had a high right up in this area. So for me, it's 633 or this major low kind of down here at 620, and then between then I'm just kind of chopping around. But interesting that we pulled back. We held the 2-day VWAP. So this is where your kind of average buyer is sitting from yesterday. And then we started to kind of grind up, break the 1-day VWAP. So far, dips are getting bought. I know a lot of the earnings, a lot of people were like, someone was messaging me on Twitter and saying, well, how are we gapping up when AMD got killed so much? And I'm like, because AMD is like 0.3% of the S&P. It could go to zero tomorrow and it wouldn't affect anything.
Yeah,
Right?
and I mean that's just the market we're seeing though. Even like yesterday, there was still a lot of rotation on, even
Yeah.
though some things are getting hit. That's where people don't realize that rotation is what happens. So guys, it just the money goes elsewhere.
Well, yeah, always just pay attention to your weightings. Now, if Nvidia dropped 10%, that's going to be a big deal because they're like 6% of the market, but
Yeah.
AMD's 0.3% of the market. So it's not going to affect anything. So you can see in like Snap, I didn't even look, but Snap's probably like 0.01% of the market. So it just doesn't really matter. But I'm looking for this is, I've got I can go through this. I got a huge list of potential trades here loaded up in the bot. There's a bunch, and a lot of these things are just this looking for like gap fades. So NVAX, for example, had a big gap up, NVO, big gap down, right? Shopify, huge gap up. Go Team Canada. This is our one. We're only allowed one tech company at a time, and this
Shop,
is
baby.
our
Shop till
one
you
right
drop.
now.
If you don't have that thing, Michael, you're in the retirement account. I don't know what's going on, man.
I think if you own the TSX, you actually have a bunch of it in your account. Because again, we only get the one. It was BlackBerry.
What's the
And
percentage
then
of shop in the TSX?
that's what I look at this. So
That's an interesting conversation, right?
percent is shop in the TS. So we got access to, so we'll be playing with this more. I got access to from a buddy to this is the Comet browser. So it's essentially Chrome. But it has the AI or Perplexity built into the AI, so it can see your
There you
screen,
go.
it can do some things, it can change some things, and you can just kind of ask questions. So yeah, almost 1%, so 0.7%. So
Okay.
yeah, if you own Canada at all, again, our economy is mostly oil
Wow.
and gold and wood and things like this, and we get one tech company. So when BlackBerry ceased being important, we had to come up with one other one. So we came up with Shopify and we gave that to you guys. That's all we got.
Hood losing some altitude. I'm watching for that. Another play that I played yesterday on the swing side of things, starting to lose a little altitude right here before the bell. We'll see what happens. We got about 9 minutes left. I want to go to Kevin here to see if he
Yes,
got some
sir.
trade or two. So we'll go to you, my
Yeah.
friend, for just a second. Then we'll come back to you, Michael, before the open.
Yeah.
What's up, Kevin? Show us what you
All right.
got, man.
Let's
What you
go.
looking at? What's the
All right. So,
green team
yeah.
looking at?
Yeah, I think we go full circle in here. I mean, with what we're looking at, I think it's because over here we're focused on a little bit of small caps and hangovers as well that I mentioned the last time we were on the stream. So there's a couple I'm looking at. Michael, I watched a little short that you did as well on FDMT. I just wanted to mention this real quick, and this was hangover-ish. I know you liked it on the long side for a swing, which is great. So I
Yeah.
played it on Monday for like profit taking. So I short there, pulling back, and you're looking to scoop it up, and now it's back up today. So
Yeah, I'm
there's
long around
multiple ways.
550 on that, I think. Yeah.
Good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you made
There's
money on the
multiple ways
short
of
and I'm
trading.
up on the
Right.
long, which is great.
Exactly. So I'm looking for, I think in everybody's edge, repetition's the main thing, right? We want repetition. You don't want to necessarily just go swinging for the fences on one ticker. I like to focus more psychology and technicals. I know there's the three types of analysis. You guys are real honed in on fundamentals, so that's why I said we got it all covered in here. You got the fundamentals, of course, all the earnings
Don't
plays,
group
but
me in with that basket. You got this guy does the fundamentals.
What are you
Get me
talking
out of
about?
here.
I do it
Get me
all.
out.
I
Get it.
do it
do it
all.
all.
You guys can stay with one. I do it all.
You fundamentals.
You
Yuck.
do
I
it
got
all.
it all, man. Underneath the
Yeah,
belt.
you guys are good with the swing. So the
Now
technicals
that, now
and
that you ain't throwing the fastball by me.
uh, what am I throwing? A curveball?
You ain't getting it, man. So what we looking at on the swing game? What you got here?
Yeah, so GV is kind of a hangover ish play. I like the upper shadow that we put in 314 up to the
Okay.
320. Now, I like the stars to align. So I'm looking at a couple different things. I like the 200-day to hit. That's an area that normally, and we look left to predict right, is what I tell to the green team. Looking left to predict right. Obviously, we're not never trading with certainty. But this one I got a short position on this morning at 220. And I like it against pretty much against 240. If we look left, we'll pull up the yearly chart here. We're seeing a lot of resistance upper wicks at 250. So that's kind of the risk guide for me on GV. Again, more of a technical play. Psychology is slowed down a bit. So I like this one just to fade a little bit today. Whether some longs come in and scoop it up, whether it's a trade where it has good swing potential, that's aside from the hangover setup this morning. I like profit taking. Profit targets down towards about 180. I'd leave some leftovers on it to fade as well. Now, there's a few other plays that have potential. BTAI is up a few days. I like to look at the 5-day chart. You guys know that the green team knows. I like to look at the 5-day for at least doing some debriefing and analysis in the morning, because it gives you an idea that just what's going on the last few days. Where are traders at? Where's their head at? And what's going on with it? LPSN just popped up this morning. It's a lower float plays. I'm looking for inefficiency. So what's going? Euphoria towards resistance is what a strategy I like to short into. As well, euphoria towards resistance. So 90 cents up to $1.60. Now that's a massive move. If you do that on like a large cap going up nearly 100%, unlikely to happen. So I would call that inefficient. Would you guys agree?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've actually interviewed this company, so I just get a giggle.
LP. So what are your thoughts there?
That's why I giggle.
Yeah. Okay. So at the yearly here is about 150. I'm seeing some resistance, and I like to set the stops out. I mean, we get an idea of where this ticker kind of likes to top out at, but something I struggled with for a while was I'd set my stops like right there, and I get taken out so much. So I've
Mhm.
started to one way to mitigate that for me. I've sized down a little bit and given it more range. Like if you set your stop more outside of that normal range, put it in the abnormal range, then you're less likely to get stopped out. Of course, it may increase your risk if you're keeping your same share size. But let's say I would
Yeah.
go in 1,000 shares. Well, now I'll reduce it to 500 and put it outside that normal range. That's LPSN, and then Doc N is more of a mid to large cap hangover. This is a similar setup. It works small caps to large caps, where DOCN had a nice climb from 27 up to 35. That's the 200-day moving average it hit. That's an area I like to see. As Michael pointed out as well last time I went over the hangovers, it's right or right out style. So you don't have to stay here too long. I like these to size into right even before the open for profit taking, or go a little heavier on them because the risk is usually real tight. Like if it's going to work fairly quickly. That's why I like that edge and trading it quite a bit. So Doc in GV needs to crack under this previous close line, which is a technical indicator. There's natural areas of support and resistance. That's a technical area. 204 is an area we would need to sell under. Then LPSN. We'll see what that does against the highs, but working backside plays is what I've been gravitating to some as well. I like to short euphoria, but obviously sometimes they can get irrational. We've seen this summer a lot of irrational plays out there that just get kind of wild. So I like to wait for a little confirmation. It's a lot easier. Like, let me show you this trade from yesterday. CWD. This thing went up from 2 to 8 and back down to 3. I mean, this is the inefficiency I'm looking for. So rather than shorting, when it's up 100% and then it goes another 100, and then you might be underwater or get liquidated, like you're saying, from your broker, let's avoid that. Let's wait for the predictable setups to approach, like this descending triangle. So this is what I drew on CWD. It has lower highs, squeezing down to some support. You can risk high a day or risk that upper trend line, and then take your piece and move on. As a day trader, I'm looking for a high volume, high volatility, manage the risk, and take the piece and move on to the next ticker. I'm not trying to predict where this thing's going to be, in a year from now. Taking a predictable piece and moving on, finding the volume. So that's the setup. We got a minute, so it's all yours, Mitch.
All right, coming back to you, Michael, for the open here. I'll be just kind of tuning in and waiting to see what happens here. There's not much that I got out the gates here. Just going to watch to see what happens. It's going to be an interesting day for sure. We'll see if AMD can bounce back. That's kind of on the radar, but it's going to be a tough day for sure out the gates here. We'll see which way we go.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a lot of it. First of all, Cliff just asking about UEC. You can't hate all-time highs. It gets hard to do chart analysis at all-time highs, but buying all-time highs is a good thing. Buying all-time lows is generally a bad thing. This one's obviously overextended, but I just think as long as you're holding this top area where this resistance point of anywhere above $8, you're probably happy. That's how I would look at it anyway. But just looking at the market going into the open here, again, back to the 2-day view app. So I'll be watching obviously pre-market low hanging out right here. And then this zone has been resistance for a while, which is 630. And then way above here at 633. And that's the ultimate level. But I'm expecting chop. We got no big economic announcement. There's a bunch of earnings that have to kind of work themselves out. And when you get that, you get rotation. So I think what we should really be spending a lot of time in the morning doing and looking at is that rotation, and what does that rotation look like, right? Can we figure out what's moving higher, what's moving lower? Because I think we're going to see.
I'll tell you one thing. There was someone taking a nice bet there at AMD that 164 will hold here. 16,000 shares going through there. That's a big bet.
That is a big bet.
That's a big bet, man. He's already getting wiped out. 16 grand. That would hurt my
Dude,
that would hurt
I
my
would be
blood.
so terrified, like playing some of these. Like there are people out there playing these before their earnings come out.
Yeah, I
Man,
mean,
like such a
$164 stock, 16,000 shares. That's a lot of money.
jeez.
Mhm.
It's a
The other
lot
one
of
I'm
money.
looking at here too is Webull from yesterday. So my first discretionary
Yeah.
trade in a while and got a little bit out of that. And then has been holding just this low right here very well, this kind of 1470, just to see if that ends up making another shot here. And the reason for that is I love the daily chart. I own some of this from the swing side of things as well. I just like these. It just seems to do these big pushes and nice orderly pullbacks and big push and nice orderly pullback. So if we're going to get a continuation there, it could challenge 20 and then above 20. Who knows? I really think 85 and all this
NVAX on the high
craziness
short interest list.
out of the
NVAX.
equation there. NVAX.
This thing loves to rip.
That's a good look. AMX.
I like the look of NVAX. I want a piece of this, guys. I'm looking for pullbacks. It's not pulling back. I'm going to take a little bit here and look for a little bit of a pullback towards like the 730s here.
NVAX.
Earnings came through. Let's see if it can start to
GV's
push
good,
here.
guys. GV's under 2. I'm gonna start taking some
There you
off.
go. There you go, my friend. That was a good looking one.
Over here. As always, you can always just the bar on the side, just grab it whenever you got something to show. But yeah, GV's selling there. Nice trade.
Yeah, there you go, my friend. All right, NVAX looking good here. Gonna try to see it get above 760 here and then add to it. Go for the nice little opening trade here on NVAX. It's just leading the high short interest watch list. So I just jumped on that, and I've seen NVAX run before. When it tries to run, it goes strong. There it is. Nice break. Got the nice buy there. Good fill at the 758. Now 768. So let's see if this can really get running to $8. I'll look to sell some there at 8 and then watch this continue to run. I'm coming to my screen right now. Take a look at that, guys, as NVAX starts to get going here. Let's go, NVAX. Let's get the move on. Hood rejected that move. That's still looking good for the short side of things. SMR, the spread was massive, so I just left it alone. Looking around to see what other trades I can look at. Pony doing well. Bloom Energy, Palantir, MOS, NNE doing well. DocU doing well today. So good day so far, guys. Strong out the gates here.
Yeah. No, I didn't buy UNH for TAC. That's asking. I'm watching it. I want to see a pretty decent recovery though. Now that we've got earnings out of the way, and maybe back above if we hold above 50 for a day or two. That might. Be
I couldn't buy that thing. I might eventually buy this Alliance Health just because I think in the long run. But this tells me that there's more problems coming in this space. I think there's a real audit kind of issue there that's showing up. All right, guys, good rip there on NVAX. Now up to 780s. Looking for the push to 8 to sell some into that push. Looking pretty good here on the first drive. There we go, NVAX. Let's go.
BTAI looking heavy against 320.
NVAX looking really good. I wanted to pop through 8. Going to sell majority of it there and then hold on for the rest.
Are you a leftover guy, Mitch? You leave a piece?
Yeah, there's especially on like these smaller ones, like under 10. A lot of the times you'll get like a dollar run. So the way that I view it is even 100 shares can make me $100, and then 500 shares can make me the same amount. Well, you know what I mean. Might as well sell the first portion because it's a bigger size position, takes the risk off, right? Then at that point, you know that you're in a great trade. You can kind of ride it.
Yep.
Lock it, ride it. Especially if you can have these in the swing accounts. That's what I've noticed more and more. Trying to day trade, then swing a portion, right?
A lot of people do that, right? The best swings end up as a real good day trade, right? You just want to make sure you don't do the opposite of that, which a lot of bad traders do, right? Where a bad day trade turns into a swing where they go, all right,
you're like a long-term investor of a company you know nothing about.
Well, again, I always had a rule: if I ever start looking up like the fundamentals of a company
today, guys.
that was meant to be a day trade,
after the fact,
I'm like, I'm looking for that sweet copium to keep me going.
Tesla looking good here, guys. Let's see if it breaks back into the 11. Watching the eyes on that. 312s would be the play here towards the upside. FSD mentions this morning upgrade to FSD coming soon. So some people are thinking that maybe that could be a nice push into this stock. We'll see what happens here if it gets going.
Yeah, so far on the SPY, we're just did a little dip under the pre-market low, and then we found some strong buyers after that. It's what you like to see. They grab the liquidity and then they start to bounce it back up.
That's why it's like that stop's got to be outside that normal range. Those liquidity sweeps, man, they hunt in orders.
Yeah, you show your hand. You want to flip your hand and tell the bank or the house what you have and where you want out. Kevin, they're gonna know.
It's funny. It's like, yeah, because if you're putting it at the high of the day, the low of the day, the pre-market high, the pre-market low, it's like, yeah, you and everyone else. It's like
that's the thing.
Yeah,
that's the thing too. And so, with that being said, I like to sometimes, like you said, put stops outside of the range.
Yeah,
outside of the range.
Oh my God, GV.
So, like, let's say, like, and I'm not doing this, but like for the NVAX, right? Like, it'd be better if I was smaller sized and could probably risk down to, let's say, $7 right here. I'm way away from the price action. They can't hunt me at 7, but they sure as hell can hunt me at 756 or 760 right here. So, and it's an algorithm that hunts you. It's an algorithm that literally takes your money, man. So I think that's what we always got to remember, and remember that, like, when you're looking at, like, let's say level 2 or a super dom that we have, and you're looking into the depth where you see that big order sizing behind you, that's where majority of those stops are set. You want to be below that order and a little bit away, because a lot of times it's going to go through that order a tick or two and then come back up, right? And so you got to look at those deeper orders in the depth pool to try to help you also understand this. Look at NVAX. Let's go. This is one that, like, I'm talking myself into more green here. Because by me not being, like, impatient here for 8 break, I'm probably going to get it and get rewarded by being patient for it, right? So let's see what happens here. Now up above 200. I'm looking for the break towards 8. 790s also can sell here on a pullback, but looking for the break of 8 to sell some into the rip. There's 8 on the offer. 802, boom, sell some. Let's go, baby.
Cover your ears, Mitch. But just bought some SMCX, 2x leverage SMCI.
What?
So we're just VWAP to VWAP. So let's draw this one out if it ends up working. Right?
Hood doing really well, guys. That one's still on the downside. I should have swung that bad boy yesterday. Took the profits and ran, though.
4R, 3.5, 4R trade there, right? Just looking for it to fade.
Don't look at the fundamentals.
Could not care less, especially an intraday trade. Fundamentals don't matter, right? Swing trades, now we're talking, but for a day trade.
Look at Hood, though, man. That Hood trade. Oh, good Lord. Look at her go.
Yeah,
she is a free falling.
And bull is not, which that's interesting. That makes me a little bit more interested in the whole bull side of things if we're gonna end up holding here.
All right, guys, we'll see if we get some more here. NVAX doing really well here, guys. So at this point, I got 222 locked in. So now I'm looking for this to keep going with the 100 shares, can add to the 100 shares, and then go break even if it can hold a little pullback and get launched over 8 here. So I'm going to be break even on the pullback, right? If it comes back and gets me, let it get me. Now I want to show my hand, Kevin. Now that I'm in the green, now that I want to make sure they know if I want to get out, then I can put the stop out. I think that's one of the things that sometimes traders have. Let's say they're in the green and their trade, even on a small stock, is green, and they're literally watching every tick of that stock. Why are you putting out a stop?
Yeah,
You're just showing your hands.
Yeah, we place too much significance on every up and down tick. I mean,
Yeah,
when you're watching the 1 minute, I know. I mean, what time frame?
happens.
Like 1 minute, 2 minute, 5 minute. What do you guys typically
So for
use?
like this trade, NVAX is a momentum trade. So I agree with 1 minutes on
I see.
momentum trades. But
Right.
if you really want to catch bigger trades, I still say 15 is the best chart, and the 1 hour for levels of resistance and support.
Yeah.
Look at this bad boy go. It held that little pullback to 787, reloading here at 8, 13,000 shares going there at 802. Sure, that's a little seller. Let's go. I'm sure that guy made a little bit of cash here on this. Another thing is, this is now leading here in the high short interest list. I got this from highshortinterest.com, and I just said, you know what? When there's a stock here that's popping right now, is that type of market. Well, we got to ride those names. Now to 811. At this point, let's go for an ad of 100 shares. 100 share ad. Now we're back towards that same pullback that we just had, that 787. So at this point, what do I want to do? Cancel stop. I'm telling you, if I have that stop out right now, they're going to come get me. So now I'm in the green, going higher through the 815s, and I'm just paying attention to the price action to see when I get this pullback. The next pullback could be towards that 787. So I'm just looking for the lift off to like 850. Sell it and run. Sell the rip, and we'll be out of here.
Another trade here, LTH. No idea what this company is, but the robot bought some right in here. Lifetime
Insurance.
Holding Group. I have no idea, but again, what this system's looking for is just outsized moves, right? So a little bit of a mean reversion, big push down yesterday on earnings, a little bit of an extension
Nice.
on that today. So it got filled at 25.12.
Oof.
So I'm just looking for a little bit of a
Energy
dip
breakout,
through there.
guys. Sorry I missed it. Just want to note to everybody, energy is breaking out, guys. Almost
Energy's a
up a
tough one, man.
percent from the
Like
open.
I haven't really the energy plays I'll avoid because for me at least they seem to not respect certain lines more so than
There's more
others.
manipulation in the oil
Yeah.
markets than in any other market, Kevin.
Well, and it's just that it's when you're trading something that's so based on the underlying, it's the underlying is really the only thing that ends up mattering, right?
Yeah.
Occidental Petroleum could be the greatest company on planet Earth, but if petroleum is going down, right, they're going to have a lot less of a ability to make money off that. So, it's really they're harder to trade because of that fundamental catalyst. Man, tech just point out here, Apple just ripping.
Yeah. It's not a bad one to have. I talked about how a lot of people hated it, right? It did the undercut. Now let's see if it does the rally, right? I think there's bigger, let's say, institutional action that's piled in either below 200 or average to 200 on this name. It just seems to me as clear as day that they had all the opportunities to load up below 200 on this name and now are using that shakeout to maybe even add here on this break. I'm looking for Apple to eventually go right back to 250. Back up to two all-time highs.
And for a company that so aggressively buys back its stock as well,
Exactly.
It's
And at any point can always buy something if it needs to. We've always talked about that.
that's what
The
yeah,
amount of
you're
cash.
sitting on so much cash. They go, man, this AI is a really big problem. They can just find any number of AI companies in the billions, and just Tim Cook just walks down with a bag of cash and goes, okay, you're ours now. Let's start the integration process.
Yeah, you also got to remember too, like their business has changed, right? It's not just iPhone focused anymore. Everyone was always like, "Oh, but the iPhone."
Apple TV now.
Services.
Now, exactly, perfect example, Michael. The services
Apple
change,
One.
right?
One.
The services change is massive, and I
I
gotta
buy
pay
this.
for this.
This Apple One thing where I think I'm paying this one. It's like $50 a month.
And the services change there is pretty big. Man, I gotta get this FinChat. I like this fiscal AI product. for
Oh, I've
like
seen people use that. It's
graphs.
interesting.
I
Yeah.
love it, man. I'm gonna start using it more and more and bringing it here also to show you guys. But this is the kind of stuff that you look at fundamentals. What? Did you see that? I got Michael talking fundamentals. You guys see what I did there, right?
I'm just like, it's like if I'm giving them this much money for what, 2 terabytes of
You see,
cloud, and
Kevin? You see, you could turn him into a fundamentalist.
There we
absolutely
go.
not. Absolutely, you can't. You can
Yeah, I
try.
mean,
but you
I could try. I could try at least. All right, guys, let's go trading. Let's go make some money. NVAX up 20, almost 21% here. Still riding it. Now I'm just kind of watching this, just trying to let it run, right? I could add here on an 820 break if I really wanted to take the shot for a big run here. But I got enough shares, 200 shares. I got the ad. I stepped up. Now I'm just riding the tails of the momentum. The pullback could be 780s. If it does happen, hey, just putting it out there, that's kind of more where your VWAP is, that it could do a pullback at some point. What I like to see is a no VWAP run, where it runs away from the stock, runs away from the VWAP, and then just keeps on moving on, right? So what you want to see it just not go back to the dotted line and just keep running on the 90 MA pullbacks.
how do you grab
All
the
right.
screen again?
I'm coming to you, my friend. I'll throw you up there. There you
Okay.
are. Boom.
All right, very cool. Yeah, I put in chat for you guys. AIMD against 420 wasn't looking too bad.
All right.
So that one so far has been pretty good against the 420 line. We saw left of the chart on it. There's still a lot of longs momentum here, good volume. So I'm gonna let it kind of simmer out a little bit. But I like the upper shadows we're seeing. It tells me that this ticker does like to pull back in after a significant move like this. Something else I'll throw in there for free for you guys. The candlesticks, I don't like trading IPOs for this reason. I need some information. Like if we see this candlestick today, we're up a point. So I like to look at the candlesticks in the past chart history. What does this ticker do when it's up a point? I mean, that's what I'm looking at, not just the upper shadows, but let's look at some other days where we're up a full point and see what is this. How does this ticker move? So right now, still pulling off of that 420, looking heavy, up about 100% still. GV under $2. That one's the slow and steady one. Right now, kind of, I adjust the risk a little bit as the trade progresses. So once we crack like the open, I don't entirely want it to go, red to green. Previous close line at 205 to 210 with my leftovers. I'd probably take the rest off there. Otherwise, going to let that one keep working out. Outside of that, LPSN in the small cap world's been heavy and fading out of its open off of the 155 resistance.
Big move in Tesla today, guys, leading the Qs. Glad I brought that one up early. Keep going, Kevin.
Yeah, you're good, man. I mean, I'm just flipping through charts. They call me like the Chart Master 5000. I could sit here and flip through charts.
Should probably be a part of the TC 2000.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The chart master.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey man, that's why I love certain platforms, man. You got to find what works for you, where you can roll through, where you can really see the market. That's how I was able to find that Tesla move right quickly, guys, because I could see immediately the Qs were pushing. I just went to the Qs. What's leading the Qs? Tesla.
Large cap A Labs at its highs right now. ALAB.
We're having a decent day. I think where the market's not having a good day is like crypto names. So crypto names, I'm not even nowhere near touching today. I'm looking for what's leading, and at least a lot of what I see is the stocks that were kind of leading yesterday. Lemonade and Bloom Energy were at the top. Applied Materials now 15. That one yesterday, guys, I had this at 14, and I was so annoyed. I kind of just put a really tight stop, got stopped out, and then it kept running. APLD still hot out there, traders. What are you seeing out there, Kevin? What are some other setups that you're looking at?
All right, yeah, the Chartmaster 5000 has identified something. MYGN looks heavy. Heavy. What does that mean? Well, it means that volume is kind of slowing down against resistance. So we get kind of heavy. You'll notice like on a trend line, a ticker starts dribbling out like a ball. I could find an example of that where you might start with bigger bounce and then it just slows down towards that bottom trend line. So MYGN, heavy on the 5 under VWAP. That one we could see it gapped up. Not a lot of momentum coming into that name, so we could see that one fade. The dock in we were looking at on the hangover had a pop and it's pulling back down towards the 200-day. LPSN still heavy, IPDN. I mean, in the small cap world, a lot of these tickers are fairly heavy. AIMD against the 420 is one of the ones that's still trying to hold on the 5-minute chart, going sideways. I want to ask you guys: have you noticed? I talk about the Magic 20 scenario quite a bit. I don't know if that applies to mid large caps, but small caps, I mean, we see where it's pretty much like I say, focus the whole dollar. If we get close to it, we're oftentimes gonna get that liquidity sweep up and through it. And then that around that 20 cents is usually where we see a top.
All right, guys, looking at AMD starting to recover 164. This is when I think it could start to do its rally back with the Qs going higher. It could still do a 163.50 test. That's one thing I'm looking for, but keeping an eye on AMD here to see if it starts the recovery process.
Yeah, and this undercut and rally has been really interesting. We're coming back down now, but just highlighting this zone right here, this pre-market zone. We bounce 1, 2, 3, right, and we get below it a little bit, and then just rip back up through the 1-day and the 2-day VWAP. So this candle doesn't look the best. We need this to hold on and potentially push higher from here. But if we can hold this area, that's super important. If we're just going to roll over and push lower here, then it's nothing to do.
Some defensive names doing well. Costco with a nice little rip up again today. So keep your eyes on that as being kind of a name that did a nice little pullback yesterday. Could start to get going. AMD starting to get going here, trying to get back above 165. The strength is there. There's definitely buyers, but I'm waiting for the fake out to the downside. So I got like now a hard bottom around like 163.20s. So now I'm really starting to look to see, hey, okay, give some washout attempts, right? I need to see AMD try to go down to the low again and then start to go back above VWAP here. So trap some traders, right? I'm looking for some traps.
Look at that trap some shorts. AMD's got quite the V pattern on the daily.
Yeah, it's a tough one today, but I think what you got to do is you got to be patient with this. Maybe let the first hour of the day go and then look to see like on the 30-minute, it changed trends. So on the hourly or 30-minute chart is one thing that I've been kind of looking more and more of. I like the 15, but I've been trying to use more of that 30 minutes to get me through the first 30 minutes of the market day and see where the support truly is in the intraday action.
Yeah, it's. I just wanted to point out quickly, right? Let's absorb this chart of the SPY for just a second, and then look at the Qs.
Yeah.
Right? So that it's just hasn't gotten anywhere near the pre-market low. This lag didn't get anywhere near this low, so this is definitely a big cap day, right? This is a big cap rally day.
Yep.
Talk about this all the time. Some days in this rotational market, we're getting a lot of
NVIDIA pushing.
right. Some days we're talking about the small caps, the IWM or financials or whatever. This is definitely big cap tech, right? And like Mitch was saying, right, and we've been mentioning, is you got Tesla ripping and you got Apple ripping. Well, that's a huge percentage of the
and
market.
now NVIDIA joining the party. Look for AVGO. Look for the momentum names that I talked about yesterday that were kind of holding us back, right? There's a nice push in NVIDIA. It's going to help.
Yeah. So this is the day to be owning your big cap, your AI.
Watch AVGO here, and just to mention it, I'm not talking about trading it, but watch how the action kind of follows. This is what I talk about, leaders to laggards, and how the algos just do the same things. Like they know which names to buy. They're just waiting, right? They're waiting to see the momentum really kick off, and then it literally starts triggering around. It's like a kind of like a wave that runs through the tech game, especially tech, right? Because it's so heavily weighted. That's what we were talking about early, of how these names are the ones that really drive the markets. Now, let's see if we can get a real tech rally. TQQQ is another way to maybe play this. You can go SMH, right? SMH looks great right here. Just stating if you wanted to go a little bit more diversified, but looks good. Undercut the 284, went back there, faked to break down, and now right back up. SMH looking decent.
SBH. Sibyl's trying. We're shorting Sally
Look
Beauty
at that.
Holdings. So
Oh,
there we go.
Sally. There you go. That's a good name because that
Well,
name pops and drops, Michael. I've seen it pop and drop
well,
plenty of times. So
it's good.
it's a
So
good name to go
I'm
after. You
short
can see it on the chart, right?
whatever.
You
Yeah.
guys see that I'm not lying. It pops and drops. You guys
Yeah,
see?
there's a lot. Well,
You
let's hope we're doing a pop now. Let's hope
Predictable.
we're doing a
Yeah.
drop.
It does this all the time, guys. And you got to know these charts, right? If you know these charts do
The
this, it
personality.
gives you more of that conviction, right? The personality of the chart, very important, Kevin. And once you do this for a long time, you'll know tickers like that, right? Like I didn't even hear the ticker name. I just heard the name. I'm like, yeah, that's a pop and drop chart. So
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Those types of things come with experience. That's the only thing you can do.
Absolutely. Yeah, experience I've often said is the best teacher. I mean,
It's
it's
the only teacher, man. I
really
give you the book today, or Michael could give you a strategy
Yes.
today, right now. The question
gives
is,
that stat edge.
yeah, the question is, can you trade that strategy, right? Can you handle all the things that go in, or Michael would say, can you build the bot?
Right.
Can you build the bot? SMH trying to break to the upside, still in this NVAX, guys. It came back within a penny and didn't get me. Why? I didn't let it see me. I didn't let it see
Point
me.
here, right? If you want to trade, right? SOXL is a good one to trade SMH on. Just triple leverage SMH.
I get runned over with SOXL all the time. That's my problem. Maybe I need to go a little deeper time frame. Tack, how do you trade SOXL? Maybe you can tell us a little bit more insight on how you trade that one. My thing with SOXL, I feel I have a tendency, like it doesn't move too much and then it goes really fast. It's kind of like the VIX, where like you might have to let go a couple of trades and wait for that real push, and then you got to ride the wave kind of thing. But that's just how I've seen in the past with XOXL.
SOXL and SOSX is the other one, I think. If you want to take it to the short side, if you think that this is going to be, if you think we're just we're bouncing here and we're going to tank on semiconductors, you can take this one as well. It's $8 stock, triple leveraged. Or like we talked about, and like a lot of the algos do, is you get your baskets of your favorites, right? If you think, for example, we are going to fade back to lows on semiconductors, AMD might be a thing there, or you just look at it and you say Intel. Everybody hates Intel all the time, so Intel might be the one to short if you think we're going down, and then you might look at something like Nvidia or something as the one to buy if we're going up, right? Play that relative strength, relative weakness.
The game we won't let our kids play is doing really well. RBLX, man.
More India.
Roblox, goodness gracious. The kids buying all the skins, man.
It's doing well right now. It's having a nice run.
Yeah.
Nice chart right there. If I just look at the chart, close my eyes, doesn't look too bad, but I can't do it.
I know. I mean, that almost looks like algorithmic trading, right? I mean, it's just steady little uptrend to it. From $50 to $1.30.
Oh, of course it is. That's a great ticker for that. INDA. Yeah. So there's that news coming through for India. More 25% additional tariffs. Now, what can we trade other than this?
But
I just keep thinking. I don't know what I can trade. That's
I thought the tariffs were done. I thought it was the
he's
first.
Mad at them for what are they? He's mad at them for something about oil. They're reselling.
They're
Russian
helping
oil
Russia. They're helping Russia. That's what it is. They're helping Russia, and then he got mad because he's
looking for.
my
one, right? I talked about it. I'm going to give myself one discretionary trade a day. And I don't know. Maybe it'll be nobody cares about this India news, and I'll look to take a fade off this.
You really need a separate monitor just with Trump's tweets.
Yeah.
Good Lord, I might actually have to get that annoying True Social, but
there's got to be a Twitter bot that just scrapes that and like reposts it within seconds.
Well, Michael, let's just make it happen. That
I don't need to.
That's a Zapier away, right? That's not
I
that
just
hard.
use my boy Walter, right? This is where
Yeah,
this is
Walter does it.
my only news source
That's all
right
you
here,
need.
right?
Just
My boy
Walter.
Walter. So,
All you need is one good
right,
edge.
and you pay attention. I like that he doesn't abuse these like little alert icons either. If it's an alert icon, then you know it's actually something, you know. But
This is why I think it's very important to put out news on Twitter and be, consistent with it. That's the one thing that's important. Is
oh,
being
there's
consistent.
I didn't look at this. Open. This might be interesting.
SPY trying to hold the VWAP right now, guys, on the 15 minutes. That's what I think you watch here to see if we get above 630 or 628.50 on the downside. Just giving levels there based on the 15 minutes of the SPY.
Well, and we got to remember they had he already yelled about this India news before, and we dipped for a bit and then just ripped after. So
Yeah,
we didn't care before. We're probably not going to care now.
yeah. The only key is that it's imposing more, but there's really not too much that's affected by it. Maybe you could look at Apple to see if that maybe pulls
Oh
back, but
yeah,
look how Apple's just stayed there,
yeah,
right? It hasn't done anything from this.
fair.
It's more trying to digest the news right now.
Yeah.
And I do think that we're on a big tech day update today. So to shake this, what will you need to shake? Probably NVIDIA. Look at NVIDIA go. I talked about it really quickly. And now I've been looking at it. It got bought back on the 90 EMA pullback, which was the 8820s. And now that's why I'm watching AMD. I'm waiting for the one more fake out below 164 to get hot on AMD. AVGO, I talked about how that would follow NVIDIA. Look at it now. Now that's starting to just do the follow, and where it's just literally the algos are just going where the money's going. So look to see if those names continue to lead. I also
Ooh.
like Palantir. That's doing well. That's continuing. Amazon's another one based on Shop, because Shop's doing well and continued well into the open. So I'd look to see if the trend changes in Amazon and it goes right back to the upside. We'll see what happens.
Here's Disney. A little trade
Disney.
here on Disney. We spent the whole morning under VWAP, just cracked back through VWAP here. So we're looking to see if we get to the 2-day. I'm starting to get tighter on these risks. So, if we get probably 113.50 or so is an area I'd risk.
NVIDIA pushed there. NVIDIA pushed there about 50 cents there. AMD holding that
Ooh.
VWAP really well.
Oh, something's happening here. A little pop through here on the cues.
The breakout is coming, guys.
Yeah, we are looking strong and mighty here.
The fun part is it's not like it's like a tech-led rally, yet energy still holding up. Defensive names right behind that from the open. So it just goes to show you that it isn't like all the growth names either. Today is an industrial day takedown and rotation back to tech. Look at the industrials today. They're getting hammered, and so is healthcare, while the rest of them are starting to come right back to the upside. So yeah, definitely you guys can see it here. I'll show you guys. This is an equally weighted healthcare look, equally weighted industrials look. They're wiping those out and they're jumping back into some heavy tech. So what does this mean? Look for maybe growth stocks to start to get the bid back. Look at ARKK starting to get the bid there at the 73s. Shows me more and more. It could be a growth day type of day, a growth stock type of day.
Bull is ripping on the bull.
There you go, bully
Guys,
bull.
AIMD elevator down. James
All
got
right,
it.
coming to you, my
Cracking.
friend.
AMD.
Tell us a little bit about
like-
that one here.
Yeah, walk us through this. We're still learning your styles here. So
Yeah.
walk us
Yeah, I'm
through your
learning you guys as well. We're getting a feel for each other.
Yeah, and like
you know,
always, man.
I'm an elevator down kind of guy. I like the Tower of Terror style on the short side at least.
Did you say the Tower
versus-
of Terror?
Yeah. You know a little bit about that there down there
I
in Orlando. Yeah, I mean this is essentially it. AIMD 420. But I had the risk over under ish. I want to see what it's going to do. Like we just mentioned earlier, I don't want to set the stop exactly where everybody's going to set it at, which is the high day. So stairs. The stairs up. It's nice and all on the swing side, but for the short side, what I like to do, and I've mentioned this before, is rather than, when people first get started trading, they're taught buy the bull flags, and maybe they work a little bit better in mid to large caps. But in small caps, like you got guys buying these fake out breakouts all the time and get wrecked following certain gurus. Well, I try to teach, bull flags, if a ticker's up multiple hundreds of percent, oftentimes I consider them bear flags. I'd rather be kind of shorten at that area because that's a lot. You imagine you got people that are looking to take profits at the highs and shorts are coming in. Oftentimes we see what we're seeing right now with AIMD, where we get that tower of terror down. So stairs up versus elevator down. I prefer the elevator. On the short side, we see it a lot of times with these inefficient plays where this
Yeah.
thing's down a whole point in a matter of seconds.
I like this play, Kevin. Really, when I look at these waves, I talk about waves all the time. You'll hear me mention it. So you see how you see those pops up and then the moves back down, right? It's kind of a wavy structure, even in the
Yeah.
pre-market, right? So count the waves. And I love to do this because this is kind of like how I found my rule that I use all the time, Kevin. So there in the pre-market, right? Around, let's say, 8 o'clock, right? That's like the first wave push, right? In the morning. First wave push, right? You get a pullback, a nice little push up to the 302. Then you get a pullback back towards 270, right? That's your first wave in the morning. Then you go into your second wave around 9 a.m. Boom, you get a move to like 320s. That's wave 2, right? Then you get a wave 3, which drives you to 4. Then you get an attempt move 4. This is when the moves usually tend to fail. On that move, guys, it's A, B, C, and on the D move, it fails and goes into correction mode. That's what you're seeing right there.
Catching the waves. And look, James called it on the long and short. So not being objective. He's riding the
Love
waves
it.
like you're
Love it.
suggesting.
Love it,
Yeah,
James.
absolutely. Now, the thing is, as a contrarian trader, it can get you, and you can get you in trouble at times. But I would say 90% of the time when I enter a trade, I'm usually red initially. That's how it starts out, because oftentimes I'll start with feelers, but you got to learn to be comfortable in that. As long as you have the predetermined risk, you'll be okay with shorting some of these.
All right, guys, we just
plays.
got the fake out to the downside there in AMD. I'm going to go ahead and step up to the plate here, see if we can start to ride up here. And I'm just going to risk like $50 to see if this can start to push here. But just letting you guys know on that. Kevin, you keep it going. Just wanted to let you guys know the trade that I'm in.
Got it. Yeah, keep in mind the small cap side, RMSG halted up right now. If we look left there, we're seeing 525, 52-week high. Looks like it did a reverse split when it was down at a penny in October. It's going to have some support at 250. And then, the 52-week high is at 520. Let's see how that one's going to open up. Could slow scale that one into the next elevator down.
In India is almost right back up to where the news is where it came out. So it just shows that they don't care. They don't care about no India. Even the India ETF doesn't care about India. So.
I think it shows that they don't care about Trump, not necessarily about India. But
and it's like, okay, you said you were going to do this,
right?
and now, so I didn't do it, but that would have been the discretionary trade of the day right there. It's just saying, buying that dip and just going. He already told us that it was going to happen. Like, I don't, why would we care if they already said, hey, I'm going to do this. And then he goes about and he does it. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
SPY really, really strong here. Bitcoin, first I checked today, is actually positive. So we turned grab. So yeah, on the, if you ever want to grab the screen back there, it's just all on the side.
RMSG is open. Yeah.
Oh, I think you got to man it for a bit. I broke something. So this platform's a little new to us too. So
There we go.
There we go. But yeah, just looking at Bitcoin for the first time, it's very interesting. If we break out of this base to the downside and we pop back up to reclaim that base, that's interesting to me. And as always, we're trading stocks here, but you got to keep an eye on Bitcoin because it seems like half of the companies on planet Earth have some type of crypto treasury involved in them. It's every day they say, here's another crypto treasury name. So
yes, that's in small cap land. Like you find out that these companies literally are not. They don't have anything going for them. So 3 employees, and it's like, wait, I thought this was like a healthcare company. No, it's a Bitcoin treasury company.
My favorite was there was an advertisement. There's an ad company that like YOLO'd
Yeah.
Solana or something, and it's just absolutely hilarious. Just we're a failing business. Let's just buy crypto because what could go wrong there?
Absolutely. Well, they could. That's aside from the conversation, but yeah, they could. They could reel in the long-term investors. I mean, that's why they're listed, right? They're trying to lure in. I mean, literally, the headlines are so predictable with so many of
Mhm.
these, and they will recycle them. And
Well, I
small
don't know
cap land, a lot of them do.
if you were trading when it was Long Island blockchain time, but that marked a pretty major top. There was a Long Island iced tea
I
company.
remember that. What was that? 4 or 5 years ago or so? Yeah. What?
Yeah, that was pretty much near. Like I think it was this top here in 2021. I think it was like right here. They said, "Oh yeah, we're a Long Island blockchain company, and we are going to participate in the blockchain now for our iced tea manufacturing." And everybody was like, "Okay, we got to sell something. If that's not your key to take a little bit of profit, I don't know what is." Let's see what the chat's going on here as well. What do you think about Costco? They're asking. I hate this. I hate going there. I hate the store, but it's a nice
Hey,
looking chart. Long term, this thing is just crazy. I don't know if you ever zoomed out on Costco before,
I'm looking at it right now.
but
Yeah.
this is just nuts. From a dollar to you'd have
If
made
they
oh,
if
50.
they get Sydney Sweeney making an ad for them, maybe they can break to new highs.
Oh, the biggest meme I saw going around yesterday was that UNH needs to
Yeah.
put her in a new nurse's
Yeah.
outfit or something and say, well,
I
maybe
know.
that look at this instead of our company kind of
I
falling
know.
apart here. But I
Yeah.
am interested if we can get. So I'm looking at the for UNH this wick low, and if we reclaim this and can hold a couple days above it, I might take a
Hmm.
shot. You're talking one of the biggest
I
companies in
think
the world,
so. Yeah.
over 50% at this point drawdown. Like at some point you got 60% drawdown. So at some point you just got to hold your nose and just throw this into a retirement account somewhere and just make the bet that the largest healthcare provider on planet Earth isn't going to go bankrupt.
Yeah, it definitely has my attention too. I've like tried to, I've made the mistake of trying to day trade some of these, and rather than just get in, and because oftentimes they will continue lower, and you try to size in. I'll try to size in too quick, too heavy, and just rather than kind of get in and forget about it, like you said, for a little while.
Yeah.
Keep a
Yeah.
swing play.
Well, in different plays, right? And that has to be your goal on outset, right? It's got to be what you're planning on doing when you get in the trade. Has to be I am going to buy this thing and I'm going to tuck it away. And like we talked about, when a day trade turns into a swing trade and a swing trade turns into an investment, that's when things get a little bit wonky, right? So you have to, you start out,
I
but
know.
that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. It's like really, this is the 2020 low at 171, and we're at 250 right now. So even if I say, hey, if we get below the COVID low and we stay there for some time, that's going to be me killing it. And I just buy some here. That's me risking what at 20% to the downside, and if I'm right, I'm making 150% to the upside. And
Right.
then again, we're talking years, right? We're talking. I'm putting this in like the kids' college fund kind of thing.
Exactly.
Not
Mitch, what do,
something
what do
I'm
you think about UNH?
Away, stay away, stay away,
Stay away.
There's a
stay away.
leverage one now.
Well, we were saying Sydney Sweeney's going to do an ad for him, and we're going to jump in.
No,
That's
no,
the only
that,
indicator we
that that
need.
might be the indicator there. I did get out of AMD and
Yeah.
NBAX there,
Okay.
guys, for the break even, right? Up still about 106 on the day. Been up about 222. So lost a little bit there on those AMD. Now I'm watching AMD come back down, trying to let it bottom out. I'm looking at Chevron and names like that and oil, because energy is pulling back, right? So now we're having a little bit of a mix battle. This is why I have two things that I'll show you guys right here that I think are very important. I talk about this all the time. I pay attention to this box. These are sectors, right? And I pay attention to the change from the open, and I pay attention to the 15 minutes. What has changed in the last 15 minutes? So leading the market right now is defensive and energy, then technology. And then you look at what's pulled back in the last 15 minutes, right? Maybe you'll see a change and pullback there. So energy was really leading and now had just pulled back a pretty good amount, right? So now it could get some buys again. We'll see if it steps back up. That's names like Chevron, XOM. Let's see if oil wants to stay hot today. I don't see it hot right now, but it's trying to pull back and find some buyers. AMD still testing down. That tells me to stay on the sideline there. NVIDIA is probably one of the best names in Apple out there. Tesla still holding on. I wish I would have definitely jumped on that 312 look for Tesla, but now I think at this point you're just chasing. I have to look for a little bit more of a pullback there for Tesla. But that's it right now. What I'm seeing in the markets, if I look at the watch list, I still see Lemonade, Tesla, Palantir, MOS, Bull. Your Bull still rocking and rolling there at 1570.
Yeah.
So that's looking good there. NVAX might be another buy through 8 again. We'll see what happens if it can rip right back up.
Just going through, take a look. So yeah, AMD's fading back down. The SPY's fading back down just a bit here, coming back to the VWAP.
NVAX.
Some big candles going on here. So I'm trying to look for the culprit, right? NVIDIA is doing it a little bit, but not too much. Apple's still nice and strong. Tesla's still holding strong. So there's a big market component here somewhere that's taking a little bit of a pullback. And then if you look at the Qs, right, the Qs are doing the exact same thing, and the IWM is relatively weak. So big cap tech as a whole must be taking a little bit of a break now. We broke the pre-market low, and then we ripped, and then we got close to the pre-market high, and now we're selling. And the question is this it? Is this our day? Right? Buy the dip, sell the rip, rinse and repeat, or are we actually going to get some sort of trend happening later in the day?
That's what we've been seeing often, right? The first move, if not, then a little slowdown, then maybe an afternoon move. But right now, SPY coming right back towards that 629. VIX did take a little bit of a haircut back down. It didn't break the 4250 area that I'm kind of watching, 4260 area on the VXX. We'll look to see if we get that, kind of show you a VIX meltdown look. Just something to think about. And those small stocks, I did see that RMSG that was halted.
Elevator down.
Yeah, and then right back down on the elevator move. So that one was an interesting one. It did a 2 halt, and then on the 3rd halt down. You guys, is that a pattern that we talk about here? All the time, guys.
Yeah.
All the time. It happens so often, man. 2 halts on the 3rd halt. A lot of the times, probability says it's on the downside. And you could get an upside halt. That's the crazy part. A lot of times, I don't bet on that 4th halt, because that 4th halt, I think it's more of a 50-50 shot. But that 3rd halt, majority of the times, man, I've seen so many traders get dumped into that 3rd halt.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got to be real careful, with those two, with the halts and with the RMSG for sure. Now, the bull you guys were looking at, BULL, that's something I would look at on, not saying like where's it going to go end of day, but this is kind of a straight up move. It's stair stepping right now. So on the short side, I'd be looking more at more of a euphoric move. Kind of similar to the RMSG. You can almost tell the market orders are coming in or stops are getting taken out. And that's where I'd like to step in and just grab a predictable piece on the short side.
Hot
but
stock
bull has my
Zeta.
interest right now. Yeah.
Hot stock Zeta. Have you seen that one today?
Zeta.
Zeta. Hot. 10,000 share order going through there at 2020. Zeta. Zeta, Echo, Tango.
Oh, yeah, we were looking at this one. So, yeah, dude. This had a little bit of
a
interesting, this little micro head and shoulder pattern at the start of the day, which ended up cracking that neckline. but accumulating shorts, perhaps. It held the open and continuing that leg up, and now it's kind of grinding higher. So you can tell on some of these with some of that trappy action. You can tell, we may be gathering some shorts and getting that next leg up. So that's something I wouldn't be looking at on the short side after it showed a sign of weakness like that and then came back up to the highs.
AMD right back down to the low of the day. So there's the trap now, trapping all those earlier bulls. You got long it. You got probably ran into, right? Ran over a little bit there. I'm gonna like NVAX here. I'm willing to risk some of the money I've made already on NVAX. I'm trying to see if some volume can come in here in the 793s, but just to call out a
There's the
smaller
magic
name that's sitting
20s.
there.
You'll start seeing it. We go over the magic 20s all the time. There's 820s on that one. It's crossed that 200-day a little bit. So it's holding VWAP real well, though.
Yeah, that's my thing. I look for sometimes 3 cut down below VWAPs and then a hold the VWAP. So that's what we just got. So in the last candle, we got finally that hold. Now I don't want to see it test below VWAP here. It can tap it, but not really break it, because if it breaks it, it's not holding that structure. Remember the rule of 3, and on the 4th, it's usually a breakdown.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. If you what did Michael say the other day? If you knock on the door enough, it's like you're going to get in.
Yeah,
heard him say that. Yeah.
AMD breaking through the low. Let's see if it reverses out of that, but it just broke the low on the intraday.
Oh my goodness, BULL. Yeah, so that's what I'm looking for. God,
BULL. There you go. Gets above the Bollinger Band, a good expansion, couple candles above, now pulls back.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for, pretty much. But it didn't have the euphoria. I want to see like a larger. You look at the green candlesticks. I want to see a larger one relative to the average one on the day. Because I didn't quite get that.
I skipped. I'm definitely not the one that caused that move, but I was on my, my real account, my big boy account, and I was telling you guys that I was long that for a swing, in the 13s, and I just saw that as you were talking. I was like nodding my head. I'm like, yeah, that's a pretty big run, right? That's just been up 5-minute candles in a row like that. Maybe I should, ring the register on a little bit. I still have some, but just, maybe it's time to take a few bucks off the table there.
Salivating that, and here comes Michael's 200,000 shares.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm eyeballing.
3 for 3. Good work, buddy. AMID PDT LPS, and always the most insane. Stephanie's
the only way Steph knows.
Right? Again, if it works, have at it. Just
when you see the problem, with did you guys watch the Bernadette's interview? And she has a 95% win rate. Well, I mean, this is why. I mean, this she trades a similar approach where it's like, scaling some of the euphoric plays, and it works so often. But I know that number's somewhat superfluous in that you got, like, what are you doing with the other 5%? That's what matters. The problem is you get so highly convicted. I almost said, like, dude, trading this way, like when you train this way, dude, it causes some problems, like, the longer you do it, because you're so highly convicted on what's going to happen that sometimes you become that stubborn bear, right? And you just get so convicted that you'll get squeezed out. So you always have to, Pete, dude, you always just have to be predefining that risk. Always. I try to tell the guys, like, you never make it in trading. You're always making it. You're always making it. Dude, I used to see these ads going on where it'd be, I'm not going to say any names, but it'd be like, you're one trade away. Just join my chat room. And I just laugh. I'm like, well, you're one trade away. Yeah, from blowing up. You're always one trade away. I've seen the best traders go on like year streaks and then lose it all on one trade. So
yeah. SPY right back down below the low here, guys. Expanding of a range here. So that's what we're seeing, an expansion of the range. We'll see if it's able to hold lows. But definitely tough day so far. Back in NVAX, just to let you guys know.
MYGN, guys, great against 550. That one's pulling back in quite a bit. Good work, anybody getting that short.
Yeah, the SPY, we are we're back at lows, but we're actually putting in a little bit of a bottom, a little bit of wick here at these lows.
Yeah.
Pushing a little bit higher again. So if we hold these, again, I always got to zoom out, right? What's going on in the daily chart? Well, absolutely nothing. Right? Not a thing. This is yesterday's candle. This is the day before's candle. And then you kind of look at this. I look at this as one kind of giant move here, right? This. So remember when we used to move 3% a day, and right now we are this all-time high to this tick right there was 3%. So I remember back in April when a 3% one day move was interesting. And now we're getting 3% over weeks is kind of interesting. So not only is this a pretty tiny range, but we're inside that pretty tiny range pretty dramatically. So it makes sense that we're probably waiting for whatever the next big either earnings report or talked about this, that we don't have anything today when it comes to economic numbers. The only thing we have tomorrow is unemployment, maybe, right? That seems like a pretty big deal. And then absolutely nothing on Thursday. I did see that there's a whole bunch of FOMC dudes yapping today, so pay attention for them. But yeah,
It's trying to
really,
get jobs. It's trying to get jobs.
Yeah, I mean, just I haven't looked too deep into it, but I mean, from just word of mouth, it's not been a lot of
Diarrhea of
layoffs
mouth.
due to AI, right? Yeah, exactly.
Diarrhea of the mouth.
Yeah, I saw these guys. They're like, dude, I just spent the last however many years studying this subject or and going to college for my job to be replaced by AI.
That's
gonna
They're coming
happen.
for him.
The only
Yeah.
thing, the only encouraging thing, right, is I remember and I've told this story before. I showed my dad, who's in his 70s, and he was
Mhm.
one of the first people, is how old he is, to own a computer as an accountant, which is just insane. And he said, "This to me reminds me of Excel. And Excel didn't replace accountants, it replaced accountants that didn't know Excel." So he's like, because I keep asking him, like, what the hell am I going to tell my son to do for a job? He's like, there's going to be a whole bunch of jobs that no longer exist. And then there's going to be a whole bunch of jobs that we don't even know that are going to exist that are going to be created.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, my best thing is use the tool. That's why I'm on this, and I got this whole browser right here, which is right, just
yeah.
all about AI.
I think
Yeah.
in the long run, it's going to be also just more of a proponent of we need to change what we teach and learn.
Yes.
Yeah. Dude, well, they
That's
never
the
taught
first thing.
financial
That's the
financial
first thing
literacy
that needs to
at all.
change, right? And you're already seeing it. The kids are smarter than us. There's a thing that they're doing. They're realizing that memorization
Oh,
information
it's
is
useless.
very
Yeah.
useless. They are literally telling the adults, stop trying to make us memorize stuff. Teach us how stuff works.
You remember, and we're all old enough to remember. You're not always gonna have a calculator in your pocket. And it's like everybody always has a calculator in
Yeah.
their pocket now, and it's like you're not
It's
gonna
just,
Yeah.
have
yeah.
a super intelligent AI. And it's like, yeah, I am. So yeah,
Yeah.
you better
If
teach me
anything, I
to.
know more now than I did back then, right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah,
Exactly.
So,
yeah, the fact checking, I think,
yeah.
critical thinking will be huge, not just believing whatever the AI spits out at you. I think that'll be a big thing.
hmm
Um, you know,
Stepping up here, guys.
right,
Stepping up here.
in NVAX,
Yeah. So I just
yeah,
have 500 shares now, willing to step up. I'm trying to keep it simple today.
yeah.
Look for clean charts. And I said, you know what? This is a clean chart. I've already been in. Now I'm just trying to add here on the big breakout. There we go. Now we're starting to move. Now I got 1,000 shares. Let's go. Let's see this start to break to get through the 820s. Oh, if it gets through that, we're looking good, guys. Sometimes it's about finding the clean chart. To me, I didn't even have NVAX on the radar today, but that is as clean as a chart as I can get on a day like today.
Yeah, that was
So,
beautiful. Good work on that.
Well, right, so I talk about this sometimes where, right, you guys know I'm a quant, right? I pretty much have a
Yeah.
robot that does everything at this point, and sometimes you're hearing me talking at these times a day where I'm like, yeah, I've done 45 trades today. I've done 5 trades.
I
The
love
robot's
that.
done 5 trades.
Yeah.
It's a super light day, and it's because unless you're trading the earnings plays, which I'm trading kind of the earnings plays the day after, there's nothing really happening in the market, right? So it's it's interesting. And this is I'm going to highly disagree with you here, Rando, saying if you outsource knowledge, you won't learn as much. I would very vigorously argue that every generation is probably more knowledgeable than the one before it. I'd say what you know is a little bit different. The argument I've always pushed back on that. I remember my mom saying,
Yeah,
"Yeah, it's like, but if you use the internet to Google everything, what are you going to happen if Google doesn't exist?" I'm like, "Well, if we get to a
exactly.
point where Google doesn't exist, the only thing I wish I knew how to do is how to grow potatoes." Because that means like all your banking is gone, all of right, the whole world has come to an end at that point. So I think they're going to, yeah, they might not be able to recite all of the presidents that have ever existed, but they can look them up in 2 seconds. So who cares anyway? But they're just going to have more knowledge when it comes to how to utilize these tools in order to make difference.
Yeah,
So what you
I
know changes for
I
sure.
think I think what should
Yeah.
be, just looked at nowadays is the focus of how do you use information, not how do you obtain information.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, obtaining information is just a matter of a click.
Hmm.
And so
Mhm.
when information is a matter of a click, it's not about no longer of having information. We already have it. You don't need to memorize it. Memorization doesn't help anybody. Now, what you can do is, hey, all right, so now that I have this knowledge, how do I go make a business out of it? How do I develop an app from that? Right? I want kids to be able to code. Every kid should be able to code. Not one, every kid should be able to
Yeah.
code. Right? And things like that should be what's taught in school.
Well, and I remember when I don't know if it's all of Canada, but at least my province, they replaced cursive writing with like intro to coding in very early kids. And there was all these
Oh,
boomers
very
that were
good.
all
Yeah.
pissed off. I'm like, no one cares about cursive writing, right? Well, don't know how to fix a car, but don't know how to fix an old school internal combustion um, car. And by then, I hope my kids don't need to learn how to drive a car because you know who's way better at driving cars? And it definitely will be in like 10, 15 years from now. Robots. Like,
computers.
right? It's like it's going to be
That's every
way better. And
parent's like worst nightmare too. Yeah. Like,
yeah,
you
like,
know,
oh, I've got a 3-year-old, and I'm like, oh, please God, in 13 years, I want it to be illegal to drive. I want you to have to like, if you want to drive a car, go
yeah,
to
yeah.
No,
go
what
to a
needs to
racetrack.
happen,
Yeah.
Michael, is that there's an actual real driving test, not just this show up and if you can park a car, I'm going to put you out on the road.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I could park a car and it sounds bad off of a bottle of Jackie D. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That what it needs to be is a driving test needs to actually be a driving test.
Well, and like if you want to drive a car, and again, you go to a track and you have fun, you drive your car around, and then just when like I want a self-driving car, right? I don't want to have to drive, and I definitely don't want my kids to be able to drive. I remember when I was driving when I was 16,
Ooh,
it was
defensive.
not a smart thing for the government to allow me to do because I didn't know how to do it, but because I was
That's funny.
a monster with it, right?
Costco, baby. I talked about it early, guys. That looks good for swings. That looks like it wants 1,000 all over it. We'll see if it gets up there. 950 crack today, $50 up. That's kind of how I see it. We'll see what happens. Walmart doing well today too.
All right.
Defensive
RMSG
names.
making. Oh, sorry. Go for it.
No, you're good, my friend.
Play
What
was
you got?
happening, man. Yeah, I've
Coming
been
to
trying to
you.
reel it in. On the stream, I'm used to like not shutting my mouth up for 3 hours. So I've been
Story of life,
dialing
man.
back. Yeah. My wife, yeah, she prefers me. Different topic. What, honey? RMSG making sloppy seconds right now. Sloppy seconds is like when we form a top and then we pull back and then short start covering, we pop up. I call it sloppy seconds. If you missed the first entry, I'm hitting it up here on this bounce against the highs. If you're with BTAI, good work. We're in the green right there off of 355. It's pulling back in a little bit. 10.50 cents off of that, and then MYG, and I'm kicking back there. That one slowed down a bit.
Kicking back, man. Got to sometimes kick back, relax, wait till the action comes to you.
That's right. Let the trades find you versus you finding the trades. We go over that a lot.
Well,
Zeta
speaking
still
of,
hanging out at that $20. That's a nice little one to keep an eye on. I think that one could have a reversal today at some point.
we can do a little robot update. So these are the right. So long this LTH. No idea what that is. Short Sally Buting down a little bit on that. Long
Sally.
twist TWST.
Oh,
And
that's
then
actually
along this.
a biotech that Kathy likes.
Oh,
That's why it's down.
I was about to say, I was about to say, I should probably short it then instead of buy it. But,
Oh
and then long
man,
this F Tech right here. We talked about
F Tech.
this. It's funny. I
I
have it
love
in a swing account,
coal.
and then it comes into the day trade account, and I think it just came into the day trading system because it was down so much on a percentage basis. That's a pretty big deal. So that's no fun from the swing trading side of things as someone who
So,
owns it.
Michael, as
Uh,
I'm getting to know you guys, like, do you take trades outside of the edge, the algo that presents the trades to you, or do you mainly
I'm
just kind of wait for them?
I'm trying to do one a day, and the reason for that is to an engagement tool, and then also the thing about being a systematic trader is that you're always looking for the next system because you understand that
Yeah,
whatever system you're currently running will at some point not work as
Tesla's
well.
still hot.
And also, I'm sitting on the way I look at it is I always want to be maxing out my buying power if I have edge, and I still have 14,000 worth of buying power here. So I want to be able to do some of my own trading, but I am a very bad discretionary trader and a pretty okay, we'll say, systematic trader. And so I'm going to give myself one discretionary trade a day. Like yesterday, it was in Webull, right? The whole market
got
was
it.
selling, but Webull was holding right here. So I bought some. So I'm trying to give myself one a day. That's why I'm very interested in what you do. Because then the goal always is to take it from a discretionary setup. And if it works over time, then you figure out the ways it works, all of the rule sets behind it, and then you work to systematize it over time. And then I try a
Right.
different trading strategy discretionarily, and so on and so forth until, and I've talked about this before, I know a lot of 7-figure traders that are running 20 plus different strategies. And because they're able to systematize those, it may only be that each strategy only trades once a day to once a week, but they have so many strategies under their belt and they're all kind of A plus in nature at this point that they're all systematized, and they're just, again, waiting for that bot, but then always kind of striving for that next strategy.
Tesla continuing their strength in Tesla, guys. That's a nice, easy setup. I hope somebody was able to nail that. I'm glad I at
Oh
least
yeah.
brought it up early for the 312 break, but you had a nice, we can call it a pennant there, really nice pennant coming into the 315 look where it just broke out from. We'll see if it's able to hold on a pullback back towards the resistance, which I could see it around 316.50s here. Let's see if it holds this and then goes right back through 318 and really gets going. The daily is looking a lot better now on Tesla.
And tax saying, come to the turtle trader side. Well, believe me, for the swing trading, I do have some very turtle trader esque style strategies with 30 some odd percent win rates, but do very well. And yeah, just looking for end period high breakout on some things that I kind of optimize with machine learning and just ride the trend as long as they exist. Day trading, I've yet to find a trend following system for day trading I really like. And I think a lot of it is because by the time a system would identify a good enough trend on an intraday basis, it's probably over because the markets don't trend very often intraday. There's a lot of pullbacks, and that's why I stick to more pullback and mean reverting type setups. Not to say you can't do it. I just think it's a harder game to play, but I'm always looking.
And yes, if the power goes out, we're all dumb, Rando.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't have any of your money. Your bank's got it, right? So if Google doesn't exist, your bank is
The
done
best
so
part
as
is,
well. So
Michael, the bank doesn't even have it. The power's out.
it's
They don't even have
all
access
one.
now.
This is why it's funny. A lot of people are
There's-
big on the whole quantum computer space, which really I haven't checked
no.
up on today at all.
This is also why people are big on crypto because they feel that stuff like this could happen at some point.
Yeah, but the way I look at the way I've read it anyway is that the second a real quantum computer exists, Bitcoin's zero
Yeah,
because you'll be able to hack every wallet. You'll be able to fool the blockchain for every
that's why I
type
don't
of
think they're going
event
to
that happens.
allow consumers to have access to quantum for a long time
Yeah,
coming, guys.
it's gonna be a
They're
while until you're gonna be able to fit one of those into your house. That's for sure.
they're not going to let you. They're not
They
going to
have
let
to
you, man.
be
Yeah.
near absolute zero. I think I read they need to be for to work. Which absolute zero is like the vacuum of space cold.
Even if you somehow get it, the key there is they don't want access. They're not going to let you get that type of technology. They're not gonna let you.
Apple over. Wow.
It's
Wow.
just
Holy
the way the
smokes.
big boys work.
Man.
Apple, the big boys are in. The big boys
Wow.
are in, man.
What
Yeah.
a move
It's
there.
always when you start to do like these real breakdown moves right before that I say you start to pay attention. Like if you like a name, just literally put it to the sideline. Wait to the day that you start to see the social media freak out about it, and then watch how the next day is the day they pick it up. People were
Yeah.
freaking out about Apple.
What a yeah. And again, we were talking about like, yeah, okay, their AI sucks. Again, I'm an Apple guy. Siri is real dumb. Like, I really wish there was an alternative to Siri. It is real dumb. But when you have nearly infinite money at your disposal, you can fix problems like that
Yeah.
pretty easily. Like, they're talking about this rumor that Zuckerberg offered some guy like $1 billion to come work for him. Apple could offer him too. It's, when you have that amount of cash and you're earning such a high interest
I
rate on
pushing.
that cash, they could do it. So this is SPY is getting pulled. Palantir new highs. Wow.
Nvidia looks interesting on the VWAP. Just throwing out setups that are out there.
Your ticker's making some moves today, Mitch. MTCH.
Oh, the Mitch.
Yeah. Yeah, the good old Mitch.
I don't even know. Do the boomers still use this thing?
The boomers maybe. I think the
Yeah.
kids used to use Snap, but it doesn't look like they use
Yeah,
that anymore.
I don't think the boomers ever. I don't think the kids ever use Smash, but it was definitely more of a boomer thing. But I don't know. Something tells me I don't want that chart at all.
Core weave.
All right, guys. NVAX just not being able to hold on here. It might do an undercut of the 780s. This is the one spot that I can kind of like hold through, but it's going to undercut. And the thing is, if I drop the 780s right now, without a doubt, they're going to hit it. So it's at this point where I'm ready to let go NVAX. You see right there, that undercut right there. That's what I'm talking about. Literally undercut 780. And then what happens there, though? It's an undercut. The stops are all at 780. The stock goes to like 777 for a reason. Because if you put your stop right there at 780s, you got triggered. It swooped down, grabbed that 77, and then comes right back up.
Well, and this is the market making style of trading, right? So, you look at this, if you're bullish this and you say, okay, the low of this candle is what, 771. So you start to put out bids in like the high 60s and maybe the high 50s. And you just see if they run it and they pull you into that, you get a bunch of fills and then maybe on the way back up. It gets, it's a harder game to definitely do when it comes to calculating and managing risk. It becomes kind of complicated, but that's a lot of the way that these market maker styles, it's what I'm kind of attempting to do for the longer ones. Like LTH is ended up being pretty good. And the idea was, if it's really weak here and it continues to push, you get a bunch of people putting their stops after a bad candle like that. And I want to be the guy sitting here with limit orders, collecting those. Same with SBH, right? If you were short SBH and had this great earnings yesterday, you're looking, if we flush through that price and you get a good enough flush, you exist here. So SBH is obviously losing money while this one's making. And then Twist, the same kind of thing. Big, huge down day yesterday. I'm long, from this kind of price right here, looking for continuation, and then also FTech, right? Flush down below this support. And then as it kind of retakes that support, that's where the system's looking to get involved.
Huh. Yeah, so the system looks for the sell off, and then it looks for buyers stepping back in for that lower shadow. Is that right? Did you hear me?
Oh, sorry. What was that? You cut out for a second there.
Okay, cut out for a second. Yeah, I was just I was looking at FTech and looking at where your system picked that up. So it sees the sell off and then it buys back up. It sees buyers stepping back in for that lower shadow developing.
Yeah, so it's using and you can see the little green arrow here. So it's using VWAP fades, and this is what I did also on SMCX, which stopped out. But the idea is that if VWAP is your average price of today, and the current day VWAP is significantly below the last day VWAP, that just you had to have had a gap down in that scenario, And from some of the studying that I've done, is most of these large gaps fill at least somewhat. So the idea is to take it as it gets back through that VWAP price. What's the other one that I
Yeah.
did? Disney. Right, as it gets back through that VWAP, and you get a close below a candle above it, that's your trigger. Your stop sits at the low of the day, and you're targeting that 2-day VWAP to see if you get that area where buyers and the buyers from yesterday and today this is where they
Averaging.
exist
Yeah. Okay.
on
The 2-day VWAP. Very,
DIS.
very interesting.
So it's these VWAP to VWAP plays are very interesting and have been doing okay. Problem with this particular strategy, as opposed to kind of just like the mean revision overall, is that this seems very much earnings dependent. Like there's periods of time where this strategy absolutely rips, and it's during earnings season. And there's periods of time where this strategy sucks, and it's if there's no real earnings. And it only works if the gaps aren't that significant. Because if you look up, what was that crazy one that you played? APID or
No, it was AIMD.
AIMD.
MD.
Yeah, you'll notice for these, both 1-day VWAP and 2-day VWAP's the same price. It's because there was no volume on this yesterday, and then today it happened. So both of those VWAPs just consolidate. So it doesn't work as much on these, which I look at it as great. If it's going to work on these large cap stocks and it's going to make a little bit of money doing that, and I have that systematized, well, now I can try to look to build systems on these crazier type names. But there's just not that VWAP difference doesn't seem to exist, just because, again, no volume yesterday, tons of volume today on these.
Right. Guys, sometimes I can't make this crap up. So in between there and your conversation there, so I'll show you guys it literally from the charts there. So I was trying to open up a VIX position there, so I had to like kind of take my eyes off of it. So I just threw out the 771 there and looked to the left to open this VIX short. I opened the VIX short, and I'm like literally just eyes go back, and in less than a second, it just grabbed it. Literally right there. It just literally bottom ticked me right there. Oh my god, dude. That's what happens. You show your hand, you get dealt. Literally right there. Like the only reason I showed my hands because I had to look away. And I hate looking away, right? Because that's a recipe for disaster. So I threw it out there just for the second that I was gonna look away and look at the price action from that.
It's the worst, man. That's what puts me on tilt mode. It's like
No,
those
yeah,
top picks.
That's why that with
pick.
that trade I'm done for the day. But definitely frustrating there. And I like to show you guys it so that you guys can see it. It's literally right on the tick. And it was really, I wanted to open up this VIX trade to the short side, looking for a VIX meltdown now. We'll see if we get it at least. But you see how this 15-minute started to break that support, and I didn't want to miss this 4260 breakdown here. So I said, all right, jumped on the swing, get that opened up. Now NVAX is going straight back, but I'm going to leave it alone because I'm down 138. I could still push, right? But at this point, it's been kind of choppy day. There's really no point in pushing. I think a lot of the times, especially in day trading side, guys, it's about waiting for the days where you can use your gas pedal. Save your brake pedal, right? In this case, 138 down is nothing for me. But if I start to go and I start to push and I get down 400, 500, that can be where it starts to really affect you, right? So been back and forth. I was up 222. Now I'm down. I got to know when it's time to get out. And the day trade side things, this is done. I haven't taken a single swing trade all day, looking to see what presented itself. Now I'm going with the VIX breakdown. We'll see if that works out, at least on the swing side of things. This is always going to be the left box, the swing account, and the day trade account. I keep it on the right.
That's next, Mitch. Once I pass this account, right? If I pass this account fully discretionarily, like you guys saw me pass a couple accounts there using the systems, but manually trading them. But this one's going to be purely robotic. Then I'm going to go and start to apply some systems into the discretionary or into the swing account. That's kind of the next goal. Open up one of those and start doing the same thing where just having the robot trade. And again, guys, this is something that will be coming to everyone at Trade the Pool soon. I'm just the guinea pig. So I'm the one that's building it. I'm the one that's getting more gray as it freaked out a couple times and blew up. I think I blew up like 3 or 4 accounts on this because I tried to program these things correctly. But it's better me testing it than you guys. And now that it's getting very, very close, there'll be a lot of content. I told you I did a video series that you guys will see. That will be on our video on demand channel. I'll actually grab that where we actually have Trade the Pool VOD. So you'll see a whole course there on kind of how to set up and how to get everything going. There it is. So right, we always have this. It's a cool place to go. Right, you can see interviews about funded traders and things like that, and Steve's webinars and all kinds of cool stuff. So very soon there'll just be a section here. It'll just be my mug talking to you about how to build your own bot and have it auto traded with Trade the Pool. And I'm going to give you some sample code to get started. So it'll be one of those through TrendSpider. You can just take what I made and then you'll have your own opening range breakout strategy that you could, again, completely and utterly auto trade with them. So I'm excited. And if I pass an account by the time it comes out, that'll be really, really cool as well.
Exciting stuff going on at Trade the Pool. Very, very
Yeah.
exciting.
Yeah, just getting started. And,
Well, and it opens up, a whole new world, right? And I know a lot of people aren't.
New world.
I know a
I
lot
was
of people
waiting
won't
for
be
him to
like
start
me,
singing.
where they are. Most people won't trade fully systematic the way I do, but
Yeah.
say you systematize your entry. So instead of watching 100 stocks every day and just complaining about how you miss moves, you just load all of those into a system, and then when the system trades, you just watch your blotter, and as the trades come in, great, and then you can manage them from there. You could take profits or move your stop loss or whatever, but you're now not hunting all day long for trades. You're just waiting for the trades to happen, and when they happen, you can manage them as well.
Yeah.
So a lot of ways you can semi-systematize your trading as well, which is where I think most people will kind of live.
Putting the Chartmaster 5000 out of work.
Yeah.
The systematic approach. Yeah, I mean, I love it, man. I mean, the trades come to you, and it takes them for. It's going to take them for you with Trade the Pool, right? You don't even have to press the button, and
Yeah.
you can adjust the sizing and risk. Does it? Can you apply the stop to it as well?
Yeah, well, the ones I have, they fully do. Now I'm risking a lot. I'm risking like 200 per trade on the eval just to try to get it past. That I'll drop that dramatically. But yeah, I just type into. Let's go. You're going to see. This is what my charts actually look like when I don't have to present them. Boom, exposed. Just give me the black and green and nothing else. But yeah, in these, I just built, when I built the indicators, I just built little risk for trade bots. So if I type $10 in there, it'll risk $10 a trade. If I type 1,000 in there, it'll risk 1,000 a trade. And yeah, there's some other things to adjust per different strategy. So these are all the current strategies that I'm running through Trade the Pool. So what I'll start to do, and when I get a little bit fancier with it, is I will size accordingly, right? So I'll increase size maybe on system A that I think is going to do really well in this market.
I love that. Yeah.
Right. So, I was talking about that this VWAP fade strategy works really well during earnings season. So during earnings season, I might be risking $200, $300 a trade. And then not on earnings season, when it doesn't do as well, I might scale that back and say, well, let's just risk $50 a trade, or, again, whatever the number ends up being. But you can adjust that every day if you want. And I usually just like to do a percentage of the stop out. So on the 25K account, stop out's $500. So I'll probably risk $50 a trade when I'm trading live, right? So 10 trades have to go horribly wrong for me to get stopped out on a day. And, on busy days when there's 20 some odd trades, you just hope that, you don't hit that max drawdown over time.
What do you think about Zeta here, Kevin? You don't got to take the trade, but just give you a little softball up your trade alley. What do you think about Zeta breakdown here?
Zeta, was that the ETA again?
You know it.
Yeah, 20's holding up as resistance. Man, I like the breakdown on it. I mean, as long as that 20 holds, 2050 high, we're starting to go sideways a bit. So pretty much with this kind of a edge that I'd be trading, I mean, if it would start climbing back up towards the highs, I'd be out of it. At this point, I'd be looking for signs this to keep showing signs of weakness, fade, crack under VWAP, take out
Yeah.
stops, and continue lower. Honestly, I may take this trade. I kind of like that. Is that the analysis you were looking for?
Yeah,
You
I
were
mean,
looking for more.
I like the rejection of that 20 because it's a trend line fake out. I
Yeah,
like fake outs, right? I always talk about these all the time. Fake outs. Give me 1, 2, 3, 4, and fail, right? And I'll show you that right here. And sometimes
yeah. I'm gonna attempt it. I'm gonna
you
attempt
see
it
it,
right now.
right? So look, you see here. So up 1, down 1, up 2,
Yeah,
down 2, up 3 on this 20 break right here, this first 20 break. Buyers step in, they think they got it. It comes back down to 1990s. They're like, all right, just get back up to 20, get back up to 20.
hmm
This right here goes up to 20, 2003. Buy, 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 buy. Boom. And now it starts to crush them, right? And so now these buyers right here are stuck. They're watching. And that's how you can really get wrecked, right? You see the volume increase on that pullback, right?
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
stops. Those are stops getting hit, right? And so now the shorts are starting to come in. You know your out's above that 20, right? And then now they can do an undercut and rally. Doesn't mean they
I'd
can't
do
do
an
it.
over under though, because like you said, most people's stops are probably going to be above that 20. So I'd let
So
it play around a little bit right there.
yeah, maybe you look for the cut of the 1975s now, which is the VWAP,
Right.
right? So the VWAP's around 1975. You see that as the support. So you don't want to be early to the game either. If you don't, that's fine too. So you're seeing this kind of action, right? And so you could see that pullback, let it spike one more time, let it try to get to 20, see it fail, and then
Yeah.
really whoosh down below,
It's a
right?
good eye. And you can size these names too, because this risk is fairly tight. That's
Yeah.
what I like about them.
It's a play at least. We'll see what happens in the overall market. VIX, I'm looking for the meltdown. It hasn't come in here. That's the VXX for me. Let's see if it does. If not, you could see a turnaround. Look at the volume. I'm not the only one betting on it. Someone might be betting on upside. So just look at the market here. Watch to see if it can break this level and continue going. Same thing for Qs. These stocks have gotten a little weaker, like Nvidia and Apple that were really strong. I'd like to see those remain strong. Tesla, right? Your market leaders continuing to push. That's what you might need here to really keep this push going. SPY's a little interesting though, is coming back there and trying to break the high there in the kind of the intraday. It just broke high, but let's see if it holds.
Yeah, what a weird day for the
And
SPY. Right? New
NVAX,
high, new low, new high, new low.
NVAX, you're dead to me.
That's too funny.
You're dead to me, NVAX. You're dead to me. All right, guys, it's 10:58. We'll start wrapping it up here, guys. Going to get you on out of here. Of course, for me, in the day trade account, down 138. Had a really nice trade early in NVAX. Maybe should have just ran with the money and gotten the hell out of here. I still think NVAX gets back there, but I'm not going to trade this break here. That 764 is a 15-minute pattern. I talk about 15-minute patterns. So that's the 9 EMA recovery. It gets to the 9. It holds at 9. Now starts to come back, right? Later in the day, the further you move back in the later in the day, the more you should be looking at the bigger time frames, right? We'll see what happens on that. Kicking it over now to Michael, and then we'll let Kevin wrap up the day here on his day.
Just right, nothing. Just want to show the craziness of this action, right? Probably best is to even do that with a line chart, right? All the way down, up, and then we go here to the daily chart, and nothing has happened. We're still inside yesterday's range. We've had no action in any respects and in any direction. So just understand, right? Take your time, chill out. There'll be more. Everything's pretty much green across the board, but you know, be easy, right? Be chill. Wait
Yeah.
for outside days. We talk about this all the time where there's a lot of traders who just simply refuse to trade inside days. They just look at it, and if the market's inside yesterday's range, they go, I'll go back tomorrow. Now, if you want to trade, you just got to know what environment you're in and just chill out and just, take buy dips, sell rips, rinse and repeat.
Got to go where it's working, man. And kicking it to you, Kevin, to wrap up the day. What you got for us?
I appreciate that. Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for this. Today's been fun. I enjoy this, and we all trade. It's fun to learn off of each other. We all trade a little differently, so I appreciate it. It's been a good time. I think it's real beneficial for the team in here. Go through a few plays real quick. Bull making a double top. It looked like it was accumulating some shorts and then made new highs right there, but now pulling back in off of 16. A few decent plays today. Invax heavy under VWAP. If you're sticking around to trade, tiny play SGBX 55 cents is up from 20 last night. Zeta climbed back up over 20, but I want to. This is going to be an over under trade for me. I want to see if it's just accumulating, if doing that like liquidity sweep up over 20, and then. RMSG, beautiful head and shoulders here. We were looking for that elevator down on that inefficiency and formed a great head and shoulders against 3. The shoulders, this shoulder had a little tumor on it. I mean, they're not always perfect how they line up, but it is a head and shoulders there. You can get the sloppy seconds for the fade. And then, of course, the other low price ticker, AIMD, straight up to resistance, get rejected where all the liquidity is. And back down. But guys, nothing works 100% of the time. Great traders are not great traders because they have a crystal ball. They're great because they know that what they're going to do when faced with the uncertainty of the market. So you always got to be focused on your reaction. But there's going to be losing days. There's going to be losing trades. But as long as we control them, we're in control, and keep the losers small. The result should be losers small, winners smaller, winners big. Never losers big. You can't control that. But thank you for letting me wrap that up, Michael. I really enjoyed the stream with you guys. Hope I could add some value here for the traders in your chat.
It's always nice having you guys, and we'll be back like always, guys. Tomorrow we're going to continue battling. We got one more day in the week for us, and we got some money to be making. Of course, we'll be off on Friday, but we'll see what happens between today and tomorrow, guys. I think you got to continue waiting to see kind of a stock picker's environment right now, right? You really got to go where the strength is. If not, you ain't going to be finding the gains right now. And that's the tough part of this market. All right, guys, we'll see what happens in some other trades. Like always, continue battling in the market. It's not one way, but Trade the Pool is here. And like always, like I like to say, we all get into the pool. Question is, who's getting out of the pool today with some green, right? Who's getting in, guys? We all get in every single day. We jump in. Some go in the deep end. That's not for everybody. But, of course, we all get into the pool. We all want to make some money. Only a few of us come out of the pool with green, right? And so that's the mentality you got to also understand. You're going against everyone else. Literally how they tell you about that 100 apes versus one man thing. Well, guess what? This is everyone versus you. Remember that. You have to be smart to play this game. You got to have edge.
That's that
one thing that we talk about all the time. That's a word that gets thrown around. Really focus on that word and ask yourself, do you have edge? If you don't, go find it. And then you might just find success, right? We'll see you next time right here. Like always, guys, keep battling in the markets and not just one way. And we'll be here along for the journey. See you next time.